Hello, I'm Chare, and this is Clarity, the place you get clarity on the Amerindians' heritage, identity, and history. A place where accepted illusions are shattered. Today, we will be talking about genealogy, the importance of it, and tribalism. I have with me Rick Moon, Charlene Brown, and Sanaki. So we'll start off by explaining tribalism. Okay. Um, Anybody want to take that? Start it off?
Well, actually, tribe is a European concept. We did not look at ourselves as tribes. We looked at ourselves as bloodlines, as kinfolk. Um, I mean, that's my definition.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, I had an elder, and I'll just make sure that I put this out here on the front end. I had an elder several years ago, who is my friend and who took me under his wing in terms of elder advisement. This particular elder brother can trace his lineage back to probably, if I'm not mistaken, the late 1600s or so. So he's very versed in the understanding of us. He said many years ago that when it comes to the term tribe, that it really holds nothing for us anymore. He says there are some things that we simply will have to let go of, because just like anything else in life, that was then, this is now, and we can't relive that whole concept. It doesn't work. We're in a whole nother dynamic, and it fosters a lot of confusion. He told me, because this particular elder would take hours, at least several times a week, talking to me, instructing me, giving me information that has just made my life better, gave me more clarity and everything on us and our history, our heritage. And he said that the way our people's minds are now, that would become like gangs. He said we would, repping this and repping that. Oh, I'm Choctaw. Oh, well, I'm Poinati. I'm da, 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 da. He said you can't. You got to let it go. He said because it doesn't hold anything for us the way it did. It's fine. You should acknowledge your lineage, your nation, and all of that. But as far as making that some kind of separate distinction from the whole, we should not do that.
Mm-hmm. Rick, do you
Uh,
have another perspective?
Oh well, I agree. I agree. I agree exactly what she just said. And my thing is that you know when all these different things that we like to call us ourselves, I think it like it distincts us from everybody else. And when you start distincting yourself other people, eventually eventually turmoil starts because the way we've been trained. You can think that you're Indian and you can tell everybody else you're Indian, but if you don't act like one and think like one, because Indians don't think European, and all these people saying, that talking about all this Indian tribal stuff, they still got a European mindset, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, some of them, know and know how to think, but a lot of them, because we shouldn't be arguing about stuff like that. That's why, see, when people are able to separate you, you're easier to take out. And
Mm.
all a tribe is a family anyway. I
Yeah.
know families that don't have more than 20 members in the whole family.
Hmm.
You know, what are they going to be able to change? With uh what other people think, and like I said, we think European, and so by us being having a European mindset, everything they say, they go like all this recognized. I don't care nothing about none of that stuff. The only person I care about recognizing who is myself. What the government thinks I am, I can care less. That's why I don't get involved in that type of stuff.
I think that's correct. Our people, they think as individuals. We have stopped thinking as a collective a long time ago, and that's why we're the most gullible people you can find on the planet right about now, because we don't think as a group. We think it's a bunch of islands, and when we start looking at our success as a people, we do so as an individual. And when other groups of people look at themselves and how successful they are, they do so as a collective. That's why they wield so much power.
Mm-hmm.
So when people start talking about tribes, and y'all can attest to this, when they start talking about tribes, they totally exclude everybody that's not a part of that tribe. That's
They
why
That's
do.
it's not
right.
good for
They
us.
do.
And that's why we as a people, we have no power, because we give it away by excluding, by exclusion, the other people that belong to your bloodline. So when I listen to brothers, especially brothers have they tribes and they quote unquote recognized, uh, they don't give a damn about what's happening to the people outside of their tribe. And so we have to get away from that. If we as a people are going to make any kind of strides, we have to do it as a people, not as tribes, because tribes limit us. So I mean, a lot of times our people don't understand it. It sounds like we hating on people who are in tribes. No, we have to get past that. I mean, we're way past that point where we can operate as tribes. And even back in the day, when our ancestors were quote unquote tribes, they band together. Otherwise, the European would have subdued our people a long time before what they actually did. And
Mm-hmm.
we would be, to be honest with you, we'd be extinct. So it's important that we get past that tribal mentality. This is not about hating on tribes and hating on people who are part of tribes that are recognized. Because you know what? The recognition that we need, it comes from ourselves. We need to recognize each other. We need to recognize each other as family.
Exactly. And then what brings to mind is that a lot of these people, and I have seen it, the people are religious. How in the hell? We are an ancient people. We've been here. We've been here before the concept of religion, before the concept of Christianity, of concept of a male God in heaven.
Yes.
So you being supposed to be a tribe and like someone just said, repping a damn tribe, but yet and still you following religious ways and calling each other mob and and patriarchal. That is crazy.
It is.
I mean, it lets me know they're not serious. So what's really happening? We adopted religion. We adopted Christianity. We had no concept of this before it came on our shores.
People have to remember it really was forced assimilation because, as is with human nature, people often, anybody will do things that they don't want to do for their own survival's sake. And it's not an Amerindian, Negro, so-called black. I have to exclude African Americans because at least some so-called black people know this. They just rather keep on wearing that cursed moniker. But anyway, it's hardly no people that don't know this. And the fact that we do, and we continue to participate in these things. And, I've often said on my Facebook page, and I said to anybody, if I meet you in the face, the two bookends that keep us, it's like vice grips that keep our brains literally, just picture a person's head with it's stuck inside of a vice grip. That is religion and politics. Okay. So you got that going on. We are, you know, repping and wearing things that has nothing really to do with us. And we are in such a critical time in this at this juncture. All these things that we have embraced, it's like the floodgate is open and it's coming back to sweep us up like everybody else. And people have best to recognize that. And we should not even be a group of people that's literally drowning like we are, trying to, figure out what to do, where to go, how to stay afloat. But we are, because we refuse to let go of this stuff, you know.
That's correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, that seemed like the biggest challenge.
And I want a question I'm gonna pose to you guys. Who makes a chief a chief?
That's
The
Well,
elders,
supposedly,
the elder group of
supposedly
people.
the clan mother,
Yeah.
the so-called clan mother,
mm-hmm,
Supposed to be and
determines who the chief is. That's what, according to a lot of the people I hear talk about it.
Hmm.
the clan mothers. Remember, we had many clan mothers. We had
Yes.
many mothers. We
mm-hmm.
had grandmother, great grandmothers, our mothers. So I'm just confused. I mean, how were these people chiefs and made chief by males? I mean, that makes no sense to me.
But yeah, dude, it goes back to what Rick Moon was saying about the mindset, the European mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. If
See, it goes
you
right
got to
back to
be
that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they, like, and another thing about these tribes. Okay, tribes, like I said, tribes are family. Okay, I know who my family is.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Hey, I'm Catawba. And I have Ananuwaja in me too, and I'm not no Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm Ananuwaja and Catawba. Hey, I don't call my family. What's up, Catawba? What's up, Ananuwaja? I call them who they are, and I know they family. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to. I don't have to. I don't have to put no. I don't have to distinct them from nobody else. I know who they are. And see, that's the thing. We have to. We have to be a collective. Can't be a. We can't be. I mean, like I say, families are easy. They're easy to take out.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy to take out. But a collective is a whole lot more powerful.
Exactly.
And right now, we have to understand, for the rest of our family that's listening in, our kin and all of that, because we are all of that. Numbers matter, and these things that we get immersed in, they don't matter. Again, I'm saying it again. We are at a very critical point in the juncture. And the four people, we're not alone. So I'm going to preface and say that first and foremost, we've been saying this same stuff for years, just about since we've been on Facebook.
Hmm.
Yes, we have. I mean, you got chiefs don't know how to build shit, and you got the women don't know how to make food out of plants, not sewing their own clothes, being consumers, not protecting, um, not building anything, and you know calling themselves tribes. Well, actually, those are tribes, in the purest sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about life. Our people look towards nature. There were no poor people in America before the explorers came. There were no
Mm-hmm.
poorhouses. I mean, the families were matrilineal, and it went down through the female blood. And when our men married, they joined the wife's family,
Mm-hmm.
not in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
When the father and we do this right today. That's why our culture is so important to share. Is because the fathers, our brothers rather, the brothers of the sisters would be the disciplinary of of their sisters' children. They acted as the father figure for their sister's children. And I made a post a while back reminding everybody, the brothers, hey, when y'all felt a little mannish and whatnot and wanted to get bad with your mom, your mama called your uncles. Do y'all remember that when she called y'all uncles to come and straighten y'all out?
Oh yeah, remember it very well. As a matter of fact, I have a huge family. I have a humongous family. As a matter of fact, I have 16 uncles.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
Yes, I have 16 uncles. So whenever I got out of line, and all of them respected females. So if I got out of line with not just my sisters or my cousins, my female cousins, any female,
Mm-hmm.
they was on my butt.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, a couple of my aunts would get on my butt too. Cause I had a couple of aunts that was bad too. I have 12 aunts too. So I have plenty of them too.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Ooh.
Did y'all
So
also know that the clan mothers, the mothers, if they felt like the brothers in office strayed too far from the wishes of the women of the sisters, that they would remove them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, see, that's living indigenously, not the men.
Mm-hmm.
See, but see,
And another thing about tribe that we have to be clear on as well. Tribe being that you have brothers and sisters, and then they marry outside people and bring those people into the fold, and those people have just as much right, or those you look at those people as having just as much blood, just because they have the name. That's some tribal shit. That's tribal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no,
really,
you
it's
do not
about.
have the blood just because one of the members went out and brought somebody in, and your children are half breeds, and you
Mhm.
think that you have an equal footing as the full breeds. That's crazy. That's tribal shit. Tribal is where somebody from some other nation could come in and start running your nation
Uh-huh.
and sit your people down and quiet your people and make the decisions for your people.
But you see that's exactly how things went when the brothers started bringing in outsiders, uh, uh, and the few sisters that married outsiders. That's how they lost control, and then they started assuming, thinking the European mindset, and that's still prevalent today. That's why when you go in all these tribes, you see brothers in particular. They have all these other folk, these that's not of their bloodline, as they spouses and what have you, and them and they're off caste, they're half caste children are treated as the whole of the tribe and accepted fully. And this is not about hate. You know, every time we start talking about getting ourselves straight, lifting ourselves, and cleaning our bloodlines, people interpret that as hate, even though other groups of people can do this outwardly and nobody think nothing of it. But when we start thinking along those lines, it sets off alarms with other people. But we have got to um, take our bloodlines seriously. We have got to um, pull in our people, and when our people have other folks, outside people, as spouses, this is not a hate on them, but they cannot be pulled in the inner circle because they compromised.
Hmm.
Nobody is going to love our people and lift our people more than our people. I don't care how these folks are loving and compassionate and all of that. It's only natural to look out for your bloodline. That is a natural thing. And so we cannot expect strangers to love our bloodline and care for our bloodline the way we do.
That's
So
right.
Exactly.
that
And that's
tribal stuff, it compromises all the time.
as a matter of fact, the bloodline is what makes you who you are.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So what makes you who you are?
Hmm.
The
Mhm.
bloodline. The
Absolutely.
bloodline. And you know, okay, now I like and I don't try to hate on tribes. If you know your tribe and you getting it down, I'm glad with that. And you know, but eventually we got to return back to nature. And
That
all this squabble
it.
about tribal stuff, there's no room for that. We
Absolutely.
need to
Hmm.
be trying to get back we did what we had. The tribe owned the whole America. It wasn't owned by just one tribe, so-called tribe.
Right.
It was owned by a
No.
collective. And that's what we gotta be. And with this census coming out, I don't know how many. I know a lot of y'all have probably already filled out your censuses and sent them out. But the ones that haven't, hey, if you want to put your tribe on there, that's fine and dandy. Let me remind you, a tribe is not a collective. The European didn't take over this country as a tribe. They took it over as a
Right.
collective. And
Yes.
that's the only way you're
A
gonna get it
united,
back as a collective.
a
Hmm.
united
So
collective.
right, right.
It it's very disheartening when you look at, and then people have said this since um I don't mind dating myself. I ain't gonna say my age, but I would say in the past 45 years, people say stuff that they know better. Uh, if you are a certain age, I'm hesitant to say any further than 48, maybe, but those people were young, they were little. We know good and well that in times such as this, we could, before all this programming, and it has been ratcheted up, you could go to your next door neighbor, get what you needed, and they in turn, if they needed something from you that they didn't have, they could get it. This whole We got too many people who have adopted individualism. There is no place for individualism in terms of our survival as a people. It has no place. I can't
Mhm.
tell you how many uh, uh, debates, because I know how to shake the dust off my feet and keep it moving. But people sitting up there embracing capitalism, they make absolutely no sense when the whole system has been built on your back, on our people's back from the very onset. We are the money, okay? We are the money. We are the whole foundation of this whole entire so called United States Incorporated. We are it, no other people, us. And it's too much
That's right.
information available at people's fingertips for them to be immersed in ignorance. I say ignorance, and we got to start to do our etymology and understand what words mean, because words equal sword. It's the same word. Words, WRDS, swords, SWRD. So that's what they use to whoop you with, to bind you with, to control you with. So when you sit up there and you parrot stuff that further programs you, that holds you hostage to this mindless concept and causes your brain to be constipated, you have to, no one can go inside and do the inward journey for you but you. Nobody else can do that. I don't care how much information that they give you. Old people used to say, it's the old adage, saying you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. You can take the horse to the water's edge and beat him damn near to death. He will collapse at the edge of the water without having taken a sip if he don't want to. Okay? So we have to do these things and understand what's been done to us, understand who we truly are, embrace ourselves. And like the sister was saying, like all my brother and my two sisters are saying on here, why is it that other people can embrace the wholeness of their collective and understand that this is their people, and I don't care who they are, they gonna look out for their people first. We are the only ones who have been programmed to not do that.
And another thing, another thing to say about these tribes, these so-called tribes, those names really were places. Example. I'm Catawba. The reason why they call me Catawba is because I live around the Catawba River. So these names were named after places, and they weren't names that were given. I mean, although they are our names, but like I said, we didn't call each other that. So who gave us these names? Probably, I'm not sure, because I don't want to start on. But I mean, I go by a lot of common sense, and my common sense tell me that these were probably names that the Europeans gave us because we were around that particular river. We were around the Catawba River, so those are the people around. So we're going to call them Catawba, although they're Indian names and they are names that we made up.
And they did give us those names for reasons because, and it would be good, if you sisters want to, but I don't mind stating my nation's lineage. I'm Blackfoot and Choctaw. So the Blackfoot, that name came from because the moccasins that they were wearing in the dirt was really black. And, that's where, and we didn't give ourselves these names. We didn't.
Well, I know no illiterate people ain't come from nowhere and start calling us these complicated names where they couldn't even pronounce it. I mean, that's what my common sense tells me. I mean, so, but let me ask. I want to get back to why I also think why tribal is not the way to go. What about these children in foster care? What about these children in the system, juvenile and all this other stuff? These kids who parents do not know, their parents are no longer here. These children are being labeled, even though, and I'm talking about, and this is no disrespect to our island brothers and sisters. This is no disrespect to the Africans or to the indigenous Asians or whoever. But I'm saying here, these children's grandmothers and grandfathers were the ones were found in the South, or the indigenous peoples are being lumped with all of the dark-skinned, rich brown-skinned people who were here, who grandmothers and grandfathers were not found here. So what I'm saying is that you got all of these, they throw all of us into a pot, and our children do not belong in that pot. Our children, this is their home.
Yes. Yes.
So when you start talking about tribes and shit, who looks out for these children? Okay, we want respect. That's the main thing I hear from everybody. These children don't respect us. These what in the hell are you doing for the children?
Mhm.
What are you teaching them? What are you showing them other than molesting and abusing them? What are you doing? What have you done to earn respect for these children?
Yes.
Well,
My
not only them. What about the people who don't even know their tribes at
Yep.
all?
exactly,
Yep.
exactly, because they were so badly damaged. And like
And what are we
I
gonna
tell
do?
people, not only for the people who were so badly damaged and conquered, who don't know their tribal lineage, but the people who also were late bloomers and joining the this society. Their ancestors are not on those on the census and stuff like that because their people didn't participate.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes.
That's right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
So
I,
mean,
I,
we're
and,
learning shit ass backwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and another thing, I don't, like I said, I know all of this, I know all of that stuff, but I don't need a name to know where I'm from,
Mhm.
because every day when I step outside and I look at these trees and I look at all these other things in America that's indigenous, and I blend right into them, that right there tell me I'm home. I don't need no tribal name to tell me where my home is.
You don't
Also,
have to
like I
paint
said, it's
yourself.
good to know. But
Hey,
nature tells me that I'm home.
hey, Rick, you don't have to paint yourself to blend in with nature, do you?
No.
No,
Mhm.
no, you don't have to do none of that.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
all this stuff. See that's what I'm saying. See, we gotta start. We gotta start thinking, and I ain't perfect. I'm not. I'm not. I'm far from that. But I try to think in terms of nature. That's how I think now. And because I think that way, things have been a whole lot easier for me to figure out. When I
Mhm.
got stuck,
Mm-hmm.
I just compared it
Mm-hmm.
to what would nature do, because I know the laws of nature supersedes any law, any tribal law, any doggone government law, state law, federal law, any religious law. Hey, natural law supersedes all of that.
Exactly.
That's right.
And if you're not thinking in terms of that, you lagging.
Well, how about this? We know that to be the case because they do say that. Well, people refuse to read and they refuse to open their mind. Too many people. I'm not saying everybody. We know that to be the case because they say that in some of their laws. They reference natural law, quote unquote, air quotes. And how about this? You want to take a step further? Here's a good example. When it comes to insurance, they don't cover certain acts of God and acts of nature.
Uh-huh.
Read your policy.
Uh,
It said they ain't gonna
uh,
cover it. So because it could happen at any time. Oh well, we ain't got no control over that. Nope, not covered.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Like
that?
when your neighbor's tree fall on your house.
Absolutely. Just went through that. Sis just went through that 2 years ago. My mother's tree, and we had been onto her, and she kind of been slow drag. We can't make her. That's the house we grew up in, but it is my mother's house. She got all her faculties. She had not cut that tree down. I had been telling her, I said, you never know, because the house that is almost 100 years old, good sturdy house I grew up in. But when we had a bad storm and stuff, they didn't want to call it a tornado. I don't know what they call it, straight line wind, some crazy stuff. But anyway, it was basically just like almost like a mini hurricane or something in this area. Anyway, the tree fell and it didn't do anything, just a branch kind of punctured my mom's roof, but it fell and really messed up her neighbor's front porch and everything, and the little uh uh whatever you call it, the esophagus or whatever up at the top, it crushed it and stuff. The lady next door, and this is our neighbor since 1976 when we moved in the house, 75. She was thinking that my mom's insurance would pay for her house. Well, my mom didn't know, and she thought it would too, because she had no problem with that filing a claim. Now, I said, "Mom, I don't think so. It's not going to pay for that. How about I do all the work and go through it in the insurance company? I don't have no problem saying it was State Farm." My mom had that policy for many years, still has it. They came back. They said that the only thing that's covered when a tree falls is the homeowner's house, easement, quote unquote, which means a block driveway of the homeowner. It don't cover a jack as it relates to the neighbor's house. Nothing, nada. Okay. My mom paid some people to get it off because it was a massive oak tree and stuff. And then that woman went around feeling some kind of way, literally stopped speaking to my mom. It bothered her. I had to get in between and explain to the lady, this, my mom ain't got the kind of money to fix your house. This is, it's unfortunate. She didn't want to hear that, but there's nothing we could do. That's an act of God, an act of nature. Not covered. And they say it. So, we have to look at these things. And then the other thing, when I think about uh gangs, and I'm just gonna say it, and this is me, this is nothing to do with my brothers and sisters on the phone. When I hear people get their jaws tight about tribes, it makes the hair stand on the back of my neck, because it really brings me to think about gangs. And I don't even have to say that. It makes me think about factions and gangs and people warring with themselves. Damn near like the real McCoys. Go back, they don't even remember why they got this beef or nothing. But generations are still being killed by their own kinfolks. Still.
Mm,
This is
mm,
what this is what I think about when I hear about tribes and people. They do get this mindset where, I'm this, I'm that, just like the gangs do. And you're like, what? What? But what does that matter? You're trying to get people to understand what does that matter?
Mhm.
Because it's so bad that I was telling my boys when they were growing up, and I would be fearful for them. And I got good boys. I don't mind saying that. I'm fearful for them because, hell, you damn near got to be naked cause all the fucking, excuse my language, all the fucking colors is taken. What color do you wear? You just got to be naked. Because
Mhm.
you got soft gangs, gay gangs, and this is all within our collect. You got, oh, you can't wear that color, can't wear that color. My kids got so sick of wearing dark colors, and I'm trying to make sure that they don't have colors that's distinguishable. And red was just out. I never bought a damn thing red in my life for them while they were growing up. Scared to buy something red. All that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? What sense did that make? It's just some dye on some cloth, but it could have gotten my boys killed.
mhm.
Okay?
But don't that? But yeah, I see your point about it being a gang. But think about it like this: it's also another division, like Hebrew Israelitism and Kemet. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
Comedic science and all
Ethnicity.
all of those different groups that have these ideologies where our people are buying into it. So when you start talking about the different tribes, you right there with these other groups. And like you said, it do become like a gang. Cause you hear people, I've heard people say they repping such and such tribe.
I have
Huh?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
what
you got some and then you got some tribes that has requirements to even get in.
mm,
What that sound like an initiation, don't it? Kind of, sort of.
mm-hmm.
It's really
It's
Yep.
just
scary.
so, it's just so unfortunate, like I said, bringing religion, bringing new ass religion into what is supposed to be an old concept and old culture will have you confused all day. No wonder they confused.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I just can't get it. I mean, these groups, and I'm talking about these religious groups. know damn well they grandmama from here, knowing they grandmother from here,
Mm-hmm.
and act and change their name to some shit across the water. If I mean I just I and these are grown people. These are not like young children. I
Man,
just I can't stand it.
it all boils down to benefits. Everybody want benefits. If they ain't even better when they don't have to do anything to get them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these so-called tribes ain't no different. They all most of them want to be recognized. They want. I don't care if no white boy recognize me.
That's what I don't understand. Please say it again. I don't understand that, because you're asking permission to be who you are.
Right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What the
right.
hell?
But if you notice, that some of our siblings, that's what they do. They care about what the Native Americans say. They care about what the Hispanics say. They care about
Mhm.
what Pale folks say. They care about what Pan Africans say.
Mm-hmm.
And it just it's to the point where you want to tell them to sit down and leave that alone. Get out of those people's platforms. Get out of their groups. All of that stuff, because that's not your business. You supposed to be out here educating your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're
Right.
supposed to be doing, not focusing on what all these other groups of people have to say, because they're not going to give you acceptance, because they know who you are, and they also know the consequences of you going in your rightful state of mind and standing on your rightful land, in your rightful position. They know the consequences to themselves, so they're not finna give you no truth. They're not finna amen you. So leave them alone, because that's not your concern anymore. It should have never been your concern.
Yeah.
Now you have
And,
to educate your people. Those that are educatable. I don't even
right.
know if that's a word, but
It
those that
fits.
can be educated. Those are the ones you reach out to. These youngsters, these youngsters are angry because they know something is not right about their whole existence.
They,
And
Mm-hmm.
that's where our people who know the truth come into play. Educate these youngsters so they can stop being angry at their own people.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I'm just confess. I'm one of the ones that go over there when I get bored and I don't have nothing to do. I I go over there and I mess with them, and I mess with them bad. I mess with them bad. I and then I don't have to show up on Facebook no more, and until I get bored again and see something dumb that they posted and harass them a little bit some more.
But
And whatnot.
But
that's
you
not
know,
what other folks, some siblings are doing. They're obsessing over these other groups of people.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
obsessing over what
what?
they
And
feel.
you know what makes it a shame? Why our people should be ashamed? Because this European, what was they doing before they started picking on us? They was fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
They was fighting, killing that because they ain't had nobody else to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when they saw you, they put aside all of that stuff. Oh man, we ain't got to kill each other no more. We can go kill these niggas now.
It's
Hey,
absolutely true.
Yeah.
and that's exactly what they did. They forgot all of their differences and concentrated on us.
Look, so
And
much
here it is,
so,
we can't even get together.
so much so they made a pact, formed the UN, and
Yep.
decided they would never war against each other again. So tell me, anybody who is a student, not on here because we know, uh, we want you to share with us, when have European nations pretty much been at war with each other, other than the goddamn Catholics and Protestants? But then there they go, they fighting over religion. Okay, so see, that's something separate. But they do not war with each other. They made a pact after World War II that they'd never do it again, and they have kept that pact. And they turned their focus on all the brown and melanated people and all their other land conquests and everything like that, robbing, raping, pillaging. That's what they turned it on. So, you know, they held to their pack because they were like, wait a minute, we're gonna be wiping ourselves out if we don't stop fighting each other. We gotta get this together. We can't do this no more. And they haven't.
Well,
But they, but they really ain't. Nah, that war is against the indigenous people, not because all the melanated people ain't indigenous.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so the fight is against the indigenous people, the real, the people that Mother Nature created.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole war.
Yeah.
And who are the creators? The females. So the war is against the females, but they got everybody thinking it's against the males.
mm.
Males don't produce children. Why should they worry about you?
Mm-hmm.
You don't produce nothing. Not nothing nature. You don't create another being. The females do that.
But
That's who the war is against. That's why people say grandma. But it's not just grandma, it's all females.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones that don't have children. So they can stop them from having them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
but they brothers, and this is not a beating on brothers, okay? But there's some brothers that are going to other places like Papua New Guinea and Australia and Fiji, taking Hebrew Israelitism and more science over there to those people. Do you know why? Because they need to create a division amongst those people too, because those people are fighting to get their land back, and they getting it back. And so if the moment they co-sign the Hebrew Israelites or that they Moors and all that other stuff, they lose it.
Mm-hmm. You know,
I'm
and you're talking about karma, and
huh.
you're talking about karma. See, this is why we're so cursed as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what gives me the right to go somewhere else to tell those people who the hell they are?
Uh-huh.
I
Nothing.
mean, why is it I'm so goddamn retarded that I feel like I could separate these people from from their natural habitat to tell these people they some damn Hebrew Israelites that was brought here during slavery. And you know what's so
Those people don't
funny?
have no history of slavery.
You got somebody sub retarded. The motherfuckers who believe it.
I was telling my brother, we was talking about that the other day, and I was saying how the American Negro males are going over to those different countries and telling those indigenous people who are fighting to get their land back that they part of the 13 tribes and
Oh,
all this kind of stuff, and they part of the tribe of Shabazz and this craziness, what have you. And those people looking at them crazy. And I told my brother, I said, they ought to, if they kill them, they in their right.
mm-hmm.
Because they over there doing some evil crap. They
What
doing some evil crap. They
what
don't give a
they're
damn
doing
about those
is
people.
no less than what. How is what they're doing, which is a bunch of falsehoods and stuff? How is it any different than the colonizers spreading
Uh-huh.
evangelical and Christianity and shit? And everywhere that these people have gone, they have been the purveyors of just all kind of evil shit. Let's be clear. It ain't nothing good that came out of that except corrupting people from separating them from their land, uh causing their damn mind and brain to be polluted to the point that they need an enema. And so we follow in step and we're doing the same thing to these people, that we know we shouldn't be doing with something that I mean, it's religion. If you subscribe to it, fine. I mean, I can't get into headbutt sessions with people about ideologies, because ideologies is what have fucked up this whole world. If you don't understand that, I don't really have the synergy to have a discussion with you about it. I just don't.
Well, well, so even though okay, we kind of strayed a little bit, but it's all connected because it's showing the tribal mentality. Whether we acknowledge being a quote unquote Indian tribe or not, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, remember they talking about tribes too.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
we're looking at all of this division and we're seeing that not only does that division cause hardship on our people, but we have some of our own folks going out of their way to cause hardship on other people on the other side of the planet on behalf of the very folks that got their folks locked down. So, yeah, that's karmic debt that they're creating. But
Yeah.
we as a people have got to get our sense about us. And that's why we tribes and stuff don't work for us at this point because there's so much had been lost. But that does not mean that as a people we cannot be a unit. We cannot be that collective that we have to be. Trust me, whether we want to or not. One thing that I agree with Elijah Muhammad is that he said that the change gonna come whether we want it to or not. We can go kicking and screaming, or we can go willingly. And here's the thing: a lot of our people are kicking and screaming because the change is here, and that's why you see a whole lot of commotion, a lot of butting of heads and things like that, because the change is here, and there are some people who want the change to come in, and you have those who are fighting against it because they're in love with Babylon. Okay,
Mm.
they want to keep all this confusion going. Even though they benefit nothing from this confusion, they really don't. So with that, I want to lead us straight into genealogy. Because there's some people who don't think genealogy matter. Oh, I did a swab and they sent my results back and they said that I was Fulani and Igbo and all this kind of stuff. Your
That is
genealogy
embarrassing.
is your mama's and your daddy's. You
That
see?
is embarrassing. I look at people telling me that. I'm like, well, some people said their dog DNA and got damn same results
They
as
did.
people did. These people. I just can't. We were talking about this earlier. I just can't deal with those type people. I just can't see. I just can't understand why they that damn dumb. What it dropped on their heads or what? Your grandmother told you her direct bloodline, you disregard that,
Yep.
send it to somebody to tell you that you're from Africa and you're from a nation in particular where they circumcise the women, and your people were never circumcised, and that's their culture. And I tell people, look at your culture. And and I'm looking, I'm looking at this sister just the other day, older sister, when she said something to me, and I just shook my head. And I'm like, your husband will beat your ass so much, he done beat the damn brains out you.
Sorry. Oh my God. That's a nervous laugh. I'm sorry. Ooh,
No. I'm serious. I'm so
I
angry.
understand.
Because she defended that DNA like it was, like it was saying, overriding her grandmother.
But let me
You
say this.
know,
You know what? The other reason that we get our ass whooped with karma, and we're gonna keep getting uh the universe's karmic belt beating our asses, is because we give these people cloak. Part of karma is forgiving people for shit, getting in the way of what is to come to them. We do that routinely all the time. now more than ever. And then when someone who looks like you, who is from your own collective, is trying to educate you, then they become the damn enemy. And see, they tell you the truth. They have said many times that these damn DNA tests, and that's the disclaimer, is for entertainment purposes only. There have been many documentaries, not just no YouTube stuff, and YouTube have good stuff, so I'm not downing it or knocking it, definitely by no means. But there have been documentaries and people who have come out and put out stuff to say there is no test that can definitively tell a person about where their lineage was from just based on how how all of that works. It can't be done. It's impossible. So then you're gonna get this goulash that they sitting up there laughing at because all anybody got to do is classic. It's from maybe about 10 years or so ago. Go look at Skip Gates sitting up there laughing at Oprah Winfrey, and he talking to somebody that helps him and works in his stuff, talking about she want to be Shaka Zulu. He talking to a whole sea full of pale people at Harvard, just dying laughing at her expense, and it's like she is just the biggest damn fool. And he laughing about it, making a joke about her in
Mm-hmm.
front of a whole sea audience of pale people. And they laughing too, and
Mm-hmm.
they should be laughing. Okay, because one thing that I know, I learned this from some a sister who knows Skip Gates' family personally. She said that when they have, she said, because she's from Cali, she said some years ago they had a family reunion or something, and he was there, and then the subject came up with what he was doing and stuff, and they just roasted him. His whole family told him he needs to stop the nonsense. He knows what he is, and why does he even go there and be saying all that shit? His family told him that. So, it ain't like he don't know, but this is a means of making money, which is hoodwinking folks with bullshit. That's what it's about. But my elders, I heard them say it a lot. His old saying, another adage: find a fool, bump his head if he let you bump it twice. Keep on bumping it until he say, "Ouch."
Mm-hmm. Knock them out.
Yeah,
I
ain't y'all,
just
ain't,
don't.
ain't y'all heard that before?
Yes, but my thing is that I can't understand. How do you call your grandmother a liar?
Yes.
Yep.
This is your grandmother, meaning she's bigger than your mama, meaning she birthed your mama. She birthed the woman who birthed you. She
Mm-hmm.
gave the sister life who gave you life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and you call her a liar.
Oh
and
yeah.
and ignorant. They call our elders ignorant. This is something that it really pains me because this is not. We always like to talk about our culture, heritage, blah, 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 blah. This is not our culture. Our culture was never to demean our elders within our family,
Mm-hmm.
especially for some of those, and I'm one. I grew up in a three-generational family. My grandma, as in my maternal grandmother, my mother's mother, she was the matriarch of the family. Whatever the fuck she said went. That's it. End of discussion. That nothing else to hear about. If she wrong, she'll come back and tell you why I made a mistake, and sometimes she would. If not, that's it. You don't have no other vote. Whatever she said. Okay.
Mhm.
So we disrespect these people, and then this is why we keep getting our ass beat.
Exactly.
And you know whose culture we have adopted? We have not adopted these pale people's culture because, and we sit up and say, "Oh, look at the Hispanics, look at the Chinese, look at the." And I'm just gonna add these Middle Eastern people, Muslim, whatever. These folks come here. I've seen them do it. They start with a starter house. They all chip in. They be done paid cash for the damn house. That's the house that everybody who comes here goes to until they get their own. And I know everybody have seen that. On the
Mm-hmm.
flip side, we can't even stay with each other for we. Oh hell, I gotta get out of here. I gotta. It's crazy because
But
that's
but
what's been indoctrinated in us. You know.
but all those other people, what you see them doing, they saw us doing it
Oh yes.
because our people have been separated from it for a while. We think we give them credit, these foreigners credit for, oh, that's how they operate. That's how we operated at one point too.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. There were no poor people or poor houses in America before the foreigners came here.
No, we live together. We'll have a whole community that will be our family. And if
Yeah.
something
Exactly.
happens to your
Everybody
house down
pulled their
there,
weight.
Yeah.
Nobody was lazy. Everybody pulled
right,
their own weight.
And you know,
right.
you know
Everybody
something else?
contributed something.
If you have, and I, and I don't, I know for a fact that none of us, I don't believe our moms were there during that time, but their mothers were. I remember when I was a little girl, my grandmother used to talk about when they had the 1929 crash. Okay.
Mhm,
And fast forward, we see that these things are planned and they are cyclical. And, that's a whole nother show for another day. But they are planned. They don't just happen. That should be planned. And that was one of the first one. But they really started with the Civil War, to tell you the truth, when you look back. But anyway, my grandmother said that a Negro wouldn't be caught dead in a fucking soup line. You'd have to be dead, and they have to be done drag you and sit you there. Because if you was a living, breathing Negro, you wouldn't be caught dead in soup line. Here's why: we didn't want for nothing. Whoever didn't have, the rest of them made sure that that person had, and so forth and so on.
mhm,
She said that didn't nobody want that damn rank ass meat, spoiled and rotten, and that mealy ass worm boll weevil meal. Now these ain't words that I use, so she had to tell me that. And she said,
mhm,
and she was 5 when it happened. She was 5, but she had a photogenic memory. She said, now and then my grandmother was a little bit of a cusser, so I get it honestly. She said, if they gave the white folks that shit, you can imagine what the niggas would get. That's what she said, just like that. She said, so wasn't nobody trying to be in no line like that because it was garbage, didn't nobody need it. We took care of our own and we weathered it and made through it. She said from time to time, some of the old, what she called them, distillery, she gave them a name. I don't know. It's some weird stuff that some of the elders would be attaching to stuff when they say it. She said they would wander around, wander up on their neighborhoods and their communities. And she said, we wasn't like them. We would give them a sandwich or give them something to carry and some food to carry away with them. She said we would have sometimes families hungry. She said Molly, dirty looking. That's what she said. And she said we sent them on their way with some food.
mhm.
Yeah.
And that's who we
Yeah.
were.
Still do that today.
Yes, we do.
We still do that today.
Hmm. And see, I'm gonna share this other thing that I told my sister Charlene the other day. Uh, when we was talking. My sister, she's a case manager for a program. She had this young sister, 20. She didn't have any milk for her baby. Okay. And my sister was really upset. Sum it up real quick with the other older sister who ran this program where she was going to take her client to get some formula. Before she finished, I said, wait a minute. And I understand that you're trying to connect people with resources because you're dealing with a vastly underserved population at risk and any other bunch of damn names that they throw at our people. And in this particular case, the people for this program will be aged from, I think, 16 to 24. That's her population that her program serve. I said, instead of being mad at the sister, the older sister whose program you was going to help your client, why didn't you ask your client how come she wasn't breastfeeding her baby? Why didn't you ask her that?
Mm,
And my sister said, well, I said, I said, how old is the baby? And she said, I don't know, about, I don't know, between 6 and 8 months old. I said, okay, stop, press pause right there. She should be breastfeeding her baby. I said, so what the older sister is saying, what's she going to do the next time? Okay. And I said, anytime you go and get shit from these programs, because I've done this work for 25 years, they going to ask you what you're going to do the next time because the need of what you're seeking is ongoing. It's something you have to have. How you going to pay your light bill the next time? How you going to pay your rent the next time? How you going to what you going to do the next time? I said, but in
Mhm.
this sister's case, she should be breastfeeding her baby in the first place. I said we made a grave mistake when we let them push the goddamn infamy or Similac and all that stuff on us
Mm.
back in the late 70s or so. And I said, right today, people are suffering from that because I really believe they got brain damage. A lot of them really do.
I mean, that's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get you out of your element. They had to separate you from nature. And another thing about nature, nature ain't never told no lie ever in his life. Never. It's absolute truth. So it never lies. And we've gotten away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And until we get back to it, all this tribal stuff means nothing.
We don't realize that we are in, because I had to tell, I said, if one more goddamn person come in my inbox, and I'm feisty, but I'm really like a rocky road, so for real. I'm like, what the hell is these people come in my inbox talking to me about the coronavirus, the corona? I said, stop it. I said, that's not what's going on. I said, but they have to, hide this shit and cloak it under whatever. I said, and this is a major false flag event, but I ain't gonna get into that. I'm telling people we're gonna have to get, my whole point is we're gonna have to get back to bartering. You were told, we understand that that is the only true economic system that there was, and that's the system our people have always thrived on until we were assimilated and all this other shit was forced on us. But at some point you have to go inside yourself and unlearn, undo this stuff that we participating in if we are to survive and maintain. Okay, we got to do that.
Yeah, and that's to me, that's the importance of genealogy, because what genealogy does, it takes you back to a certain era, and it also takes you back to what your people were doing in that era.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us, and I think most of us, I can't say all of us, most of us really don't have a background in slavery.
That's correct.
Nope.
Exactly. Exactly. And see, and here's the thing, our people, the ones who wanted to assimilate, they assimilated. They weren't forced to assimilate. One of the sisters was sharing with me about how her grandmother still knew the language, and how her other side of the family were educated, and they used to laugh at her grandmother, like her grandmother was was like eccentric, like she was crazy and whatnot. It has a lot to do with assimilation. It has a lot to do with us adopting their religion and everything else.
Right.
That's our downfall when we started adopting their religion. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, and y'all please help me, but I no, I better not say that. That's for another show.
No, and
But I mean the same. I mean, no, I better leave that alone. Y'all go ahead. I better leave that one alone.
let me add to that. Another thing is history.
Yes.
We've been taught history in a different way than what it was, how it really happened, and so that has an effect too. And I'm sorry, if, like I said, if you're still thinking with that European scholarship, you're not going to be able to solve your problems.
No.
It's not going to happen. The only way you're going to solve your problem is you got to think like you.
I just gotta
Yeah.
go to. I mean, I just don't see how you're gonna beat a nation, of a continent of indigenous brothers with a one-shot gun. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Right.
I That's crazy. That's crazy. Not until religion, when we started looking for Jesus to help us out of our problems instead of being proactive, getting up off our asses, doing things for ourselves, is when we started declining.
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking for something outside of us instead of looking at what was in us.
Yes,
So and you're absolutely right, Rick. The majority of our people were not enslaved.
they weren't. But I've done people's family trees that had them the elders pay for a family tree to be done, and then they tell the youngster. Well, I'm calling him a youngster. He's a youngster to them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that they not African, and he just had a fit. He was utmost disrespect. I said,
Wow.
from that moment on, I want families to do their own family trees because it's important. It's like when you're doing your family tree, it's like your ancestors be reached out to you. It's like they reach out to you. And when you're doing it as a family, it brings y'all closer. It do. Because y'all looking for yourselves. You're looking for your family. The people who made it possible for you to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a healing thing. It is. It's a healing thing. And our people need to experience that. And I realize that there are people who say, the heck with genealogy. I'm saying that's the biggest mistake a person can have is to have that attitude. Because, like I said, our people are hurting people. And when you're doing your genealogy, that's a healing process because you
It's
was told so many lies about yourself and you was made to disrespect your elders because your elders told you your truth. But when you went to school, your school system by way of your teacher and by
Mm-hmm.
and that was supported by this government said that they brought you here at the bottom of a raggedy ship with rodents and pitch darkness and urine and feces and what have you, and that was your history and you accepted that over your grandmother.
right. But it also gives them an excuse not to be proactive, not to get up off
Yes,
their
Absolutely.
yes.
ass.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You know, um, that's just the way I look at it.
Well, the other thing is that, when you think about it, because I love just having the ancestors recall old sins in my head, and they do it a lot. You can't be a victim and a victor at the same time. They don't
Mm-hmm.
they don't house in the
Mm-mm.
same body at the same time. You are either a victim or you are a victor. I'm a victor. I know y'all are victors. We're not no goddamn victors as a collective. So I mean, which one are you gonna be? You're gonna be a victim or you're gonna be a victor? Which one is it? Your folks have said that you're victors. They ain't said that you were from this whole lie narrative that has been a fraud, basically, a mostly a fraud has been perpetrated on people, and you choose to accept that. You're just parroting this stuff because, like you said, uh Charlene, says they don't want to accept responsibility and be proactive and do the things that we need to do. And the things that we need to do includes getting back to nature, sharpening our our skill sets as it
Mm-hmm.
relates to what's historically our heritage and our lineage and stuff that we've done. We gotta do that. You got folks that shit, you know, we used to, for instance, and I'm just gonna bring it modern. We were premier people in building and doing all that stuff even when I was a little girl. Okay. You got old men who are 70, 80s. They can build a house from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Got
Yep.
old men who can fix any kind of car. Except
Mm-hmm.
now we got the Hispanics and Latinos or whatever, like I call myself trying to educate myself on the distinction of it's like, okay, it really don't matter to me. So you got them that are in those trade industries. Okay. When you ask one of our people to recommend somebody, Do you know they don't even recommend no more their own people per se? They recommend them. Well, I know it's Hispanic guy. I said, well, brother, I was really looking for, one of our own. Let me think on that. And I understand it. So it's twofold. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. They tell you this is the truth. Let me think on who I can send you because I really can't think of nobody who can fix your car or fix shit in your house. That's ridiculous.
You know what? Well, they be lying. They know people can, but because of their personal feelings, they don't refer. Now, my brother, my dad. Let me tell you, my dad instilled in my brothers. They know how to build houses. They know how to work on the electricity, plumbing. Now, they don't do the electrical stuff as a profession, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But they're mechanics. Like my dad had all these wrecking yards and gas stations, so they know how to work on cars. Well, one of my brothers, he's still working for himself, and everybody in the neighborhood go to him. So this person that we grew up with had came to him, and so my brother had worked on his vehicle and everything, and he tells my brother if his money, if his money was still right, he'd be going over to those white guys.
Mm.
And so my brother said, "Wait, you're saying that if your money was right, because my brother was working on his vehicle for considerably less than what he would have paid those pair for." But he slipped in his conversation and told my brother that if he had the money, he would have been over there. The name of the company, he made mention to my brother, but it was white folk. He would have been over there with them if he had the money. And so I was like, God, what's wrong with him? But that's the mentality
Mm-hmm.
of many of our people, and that's the brain in one of those brain animal things that we're gonna have to handle. He's gonna have to go through because you mean to tell me you placing all these other people ahead of your own? See,
Yes.
Every time.
And
see that that's not normal.
I
No other
want to
group
bring,
do that.
yeah. And I want to bring up, as far as I've read, whereas the Seminoles are a mixture of people and everything, and also the Maroon and the Seminoles uh, uh, were African slaves and shit. That's a lie. That's a lie. So, I'm just putting it out there that the Seminoles and the Maroons are not half Africans. Ain't no damn African slaves get their ass beat on no damn boat and then come over here to America and be some feared people. I mean, oh gosh. I
I
just
know.
wanted to bring that up before I forgot about it.
I'm so
It's
agitated.
disheartening, and you hear people. I mean, what part of Roots was just some made up shit? What else do you need to know that Alex Haley was forced by these laws that we have? He was found to be guilty of plagiarism to the
Mhm.
extent that he had to pay this white man. Damn, I forgot his name. I used to know. I can't think of his name. Colander. I think
Colander.
used to have had
Harold
Harold Colander. What is it? Say it again. What is it?
Harold
Harold
Corlander.
Colander.
Had to pay him $650,000. Okay, he was. You don't get accused of plagiarism unless pretty much it is plagiarism on the level of where Alex Haley was, and they had shit side by side enough to where they could see it. And he already had confessed that he had read the man's book.
Mhm.
What part of do you never reference that shit again? And I mean,
Are you kidding
there's
me?
I'm just gonna say this: there's ignorance, which is to not know. Then there's stupid, which is you don't know and you don't fucking want to know. They're
Uh-huh.
not the same thing. Everybody is ignorant of something. We don't know everything. Everybody is. I don't even have a problem telling somebody, well, I'm ignorant to that. And I'll say, I don't know. But now, I'm not stupid. That's the one thing I'm not. You don't know, you don't want to know, and you're just fucking stupid, and you just keep on, because I know when I was a little girl and that shit came on, because I was like in, I think, 6th grade, something like that. So I don't mind saying 7th grade, something like that. It was 1 or 2 something. When it came on and it aired, I'm not talking about no repeat Roots 2, 3. I'm talking about the original shit in the early 70s. And my grandmother, she said, I don't want to hear nothing about that shit. This is my grandmother, my mother's mother that I grew up with, my matrilineal grandmother, the matriarch. I don't want to discuss that shit. If y'all watch it, you watch it. Don't ask me shit about some stupid shit that I don't know nothing about, and it ain't nothing but lies. It came on for, I think, 4 days, okay, because it was the first time they ever had a miniseries. Was Roots. It was. My grandmother will retire to her bedroom, so help me, every evening. We were forbidden to even bring that shit up to her. None of this that we know now had even happened. Do y'all get my point? We could not bring that up. She said, I don't want to hear about it. And we know better than to ask her any goddamn thing about what we saw in that damn boob tube, damn brain box. We knew better. We knew better than to do that, because she said she don't want to hear nothing about them lies.
Right. And see, that brings up an excellent point. She the reason why she was so adamant about that is because she didn't experience it. She didn't experience it. And us, if we call ourselves thinking people, we should have picked up on that.
Well,
It's so funny.
We never asked our people why we don't. Why come you don't know? If they don't know nothing about Africa, it's probably because they never was around them.
Well, I asked my grandmother, and I've asked all of the elders at the beauty parlor. I've asked all those elder mothers. I asked them all the same thing, and in my community. Did y'all go to school with any Africans? No. Did y'all go to church with any Africans? No. Did y'all play when y'all was kids? Did y'all play with Africans? No. All of this around across the board? No. All of the elders I talk, and y'all know I've been interviewing elders for the last, I'll say at least the last 3 years.
All of us have, yeah, because we know,
right? And and the funny thing about Roots, I was a little younger than you, sis, when it came out. But I remember my brothers and them used to talk about how white people was getting their asses beat the next day.
They were.
White people got their asses whooped on the house.
They did.
Because it wasn't no such damn thing as Roots.
Because you know what? When I went to school, this was when busing had first been implemented all across, not the 60s, because I was just being born then, but in the 70s, when busing became a nationwide some bullshit that they forced around nationwide. I was going to a predominantly white school. From having been bused from my neighborhood school, they were getting their ass beat. Folks got on the bus. This shit is funny. Before people got on the bus to go back home, they was beating their ass outside in front of the schoolyard, slapping the shit out of them, kicking them in the ass and everything. I promise. And when I first saw that, I said, I did ask my grandma. I said, "Mama, I said, Big Mama, you said don't bring," and she kind of cut her eye at me. I said, "You said don't talk about Ruth." I said, "But I'm wondering why they beating up on these white folks." She said, "Cause they had no business putting that shit out there, and it don't do nothing but it instigate folks to just make them go crazy about some shit that didn't ever happen." That's what she said.
Hey, and to put that together with something that Charlene said earlier when she was talking about how we oh man, come on, Rick, you done lost your train of thought that fast.
Yeah, baby, it's coming. It's gonna come.
About being proactive?
No. It was something about uh when we was it's something about where it's based off upon us about stuff that we should know. Stuff that we should know when we see that, like when what she was talking about. I mean, she's saying stuff that uh keep bringing back memories for me. Just by and
Mhm.
and it's funny, because I remember some of the same type things, and
Mhm.
then it makes you think, and it makes you think how if they wasn't playing with no Africans, and none of that stuff happened, and that's the point I was talking about when you was talking about them playing with Africans and stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they was never playing with them and stuff like that. How could they be from there? How?
Yes.
How about
Yes.
this? How about if that was the case, why are cultures so fucking completely different? Why aren't there more of them
Mhm.
than there are? And they definitely in the minority when it comes to them as some foreign people. Why wouldn't they be
Right.
in the majority? Why when we know the shit that they know? Okay, because we ain't them, they ain't us. This ain't about hating. We ain't the same fucking people. If you
Mm-hmm.
got them, if you have them Africans in your family, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They're your people, they're your people. And we have said that time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
I know the elder who I mentioned earlier as we were talking, who used to spend a lot of time with me and was educating me. He said when he was growing up and shit, he'd be 76. I think he'll be 76 years old this year, something like that, maybe 77, but close to 80. He said there was one, and this came out of his mouth, but I wouldn't dare lie on him. He said there was one so-called African lady in his community, of Negroes, his whole Negro community,
Mhm.
and everybody knew who she was, and they call her the African. That's what they called her. He said she was, and
Mhm.
that's what they call her. Oh, the African. Oh, the African. That lady, the African. Yes, the African. They didn't even reference her by name. They called her the African. Everybody knew she was African.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all of the ones who I've talked to, all of the ones, never. I asked my grandmother before my grandmother died, and my grandmother died at 92.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmama didn't know no Africans. She didn't play with none. She didn't go to church with none. And my grandmother was the least person that ever lied to me. So, yeah, I believe anything my grandmother told me.
They just didn't. They just didn't lie and shit. My grandmother, when I was I think I was 9 when she told me who we were. And she described her grandma and what she looked like. And because I shared it with Chai Ray, who incidentally helped me with my genealogy, and I love her to death for it some years back. And my grandma used to call her grandma and grandpa Miles and Pals. They had 22 kids, okay? And that was her mama's mama and daddy. She described them. She talked, and she said, like what you were saying. That's why I was listening. She said they couldn't always understand what the hell they were saying
That's
because
right.
she said, and then they got better, and they could speak this old damn goulash that we speak. But
Mhm.
when they were upset or they were trying to say some shit in a hurry, they would just talk in a language. That's what she
Yes,
said. So yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
yep. My grandmother, and Reggie knows this. My grandmother's grandmother didn't speak English well.
Hmm.
She spoke Algonquin. She didn't speak English well.
And it went on, sis. It went on because my grandma, it was just some words that she couldn't pronounce. And she didn't
Hmm.
try. She said, well, shit, you know what I mean? Whatever that shit is. What? And they didn't care. And there were some words that she was saying, they didn't know what the hell she was saying. Every once in a while, she didn't say it that much because, again, some of that was beginning to fade
Right.
because assimilation is some
Yep.
powerful fucking program.
Right.
We coming to you all real and we keeping it real. We understand that, but we got to also understand that we got some serious work to do and we got a very short window to try to get it done in. We do.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
Yeah.
That's why I say that siblings need to be taken this time. this very time, or with all this distraction out here, to work on themselves, to work on reaching out to each other and building and doing whatever they need to do. Learn whatever you need to learn. But this is the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect time. Our people, we can't shuck and jive anymore. We can't stand back and do nothing anymore because it's not I was telling someone yesterday, it's not enough to just be setting the record straight with your sensor record, your sensors. That's not enough because you got to walk the walk now. You got to be in, you got to walk the walk. You got to reach out to your siblings, and I'm talking about other people in your collective. And we have to begin to work, and we have to educate each other, and we got to encourage each other to learn and do what we need to do.
Exactly.
Light is to be shared. If you enter in a room, sisters and brother, and I come in and you got a flashlight, and our eyes, first and foremost, it does adjust to darkness, but damn, I'm stumbling around, I can't fucking see. You got the flashlight and you kind of laughing because I can't see. What the hell? Is you gonna shine it and help me, or what you gonna do? I'm bumping
Exactly.
into shit, and because I can't see. Light is to be shared. And one of the things that that we are guilty of is in our people. People want to hoard and covet knowledge, and it's not even ours really to hold on to. It is to be shared because we're trying to find our way back on the path for our own collective selves. We trying, and
Yeah,
that's how unity is created, because community means, when you break the two words down, common unity. It's common
Uh-huh.
and it's unity, and that's what we've always been. And last thing I want to say, make sure I get this out. We are solar people. We are the soul people, and the soul people means solar people, from the
Uh-huh.
solar, from the universe. We are custodians of this universe, and we have damn near abdicated our role. That's why we're getting our ass beat, because we've
mm-hmm,
abdicated our roles.
mm-hmm. Yeah. But I want to say this too. For you, yes, information is to be shared freely. And the people who have the knowledge, who have invested their time, their energy, their resources, their money, learning the knowledge, taking courses, um, doing the foot work, going out there in the forest to learn all of this information. It's it should you should compensate the people when they're sharing the knowledge with you. Information is free. Your
Hmm.
family should have given you information and should have given you the knowledge. But people who have invested their time,
Hmm.
we should break them off. We
Hmm.
could do everything else with our money.
Hmm.
We should break them off. But I wanted to ask Brother Rick, um, for the people who want to claim to be indigenous and want to be respected as being indigenous, but not living indigenously, should they be respected?
No, no. I mean, don't be surprised if you're not anyway. And
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying. That's what this. That's what this is all about. Uh, you know, yeah, we stress the importance of genealogy and why we should know this stuff. We stress the importance of history and what we should know about that. But but that stuff ain't hard to find. We can find that very easily.
Hmm.
So what we need to do is find it and go ahead and get it done. Get it done,
What?
and so we can start on this other stuff. Because like I said, nature is absolute truth. That's why they could not defeat us, because we were going by the law of nature. All living things go by the law of nature except us.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say,
I defeated.
you don't see a hawk going to an eagle and saying, "Oh, my son needs some medicine." You don't see a doggone rattlesnake going to a doggone uh going to another poisonous snake saying, "Yo, man, I'm out of poison. Can I borrow some from you?" You know, and everything goes by its nature, and people are no different.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
are part of nature too, and I'm gonna tell you, although nature created different types of snakes, different types of birds, different types of cats, different uh, types of canines, you know, different types of a lot of things. They only create one type of people,
Mm-hmm.
only one type of people, and they are called indigenous people. And indigenous people have a responsibility to Mother Earth nature. You have a responsibility to it. And if you don't carry out that responsibility, you're gonna get your karma.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get your karma. And that's what we that's what that is the final goal. Because when we were doing that, they couldn't defeat us. Like she was saying, the one-shot rifles.
Mm-hmm.
How many arrows could I get off while this knucklehead trying to reload his gun?
With gunpowder, you gotta stuff it, you gotta push it down, you gotta measure it, you gotta do all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Mhm. And
When
then my arrows were so strong they could go through trees.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me brothers can't fight.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Even today, that should tell you right there. We've always kicked their butts. When it comes to a physical situation, they scared.
When it's one on one, most definitely they
Yeah,
have
they
to operate.
scared.
Two
They have to
on one.
operate in a
This
pack.
is two.
They
I
have
Yeah,
done
to
said
operate.
two on one.
Mm.
and they've always been that way. But they got you thinking that they came over and killed up all your people,
Mm-hmm.
shot, with these one-shot rifles, and stuff like that. That's why I stress the thing. That's why I stress the thing about history. Uh, but you got come on, y'all. We gotta start using common knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And you know what else? And this is something recent. No matter what we put our mind to, it's so many inventions, and we were some of the most ingenious people as far as inventive people and genuine people who could just put shit together, make things, and sit down and just do whatever. That's always been the case. Somehow, our minds have been compromised. We don't know nothing, can't do nothing. I don't know how they end up putting that damn spell on us, but in the last 30 or so years, that's taken root. We know that when they had World War II and those Tuskegee Airmen went over there on those reconnaissance missions, because I really don't even personally, because I get sick of them and they always lauding them. That's mostly why. But I ain't never just been one of those ones that's into war movies. I don't care if it's Civil War, Revolutionary. I don't care. That shit just it's because they always gonna be harping on them anyway. So for that reason, I don't care that much for them. But I have watched them. I do know my history to some extent about it. These men, these elders, they never lost a mission, not ever. They don't even get credit that they supposed to get from those reconnaissance missions going over there, helping bring their sorry ass back over here in this landmass, to live another day, to fuck over them. Okay, this is all truth. It's part of our history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah, but
another
what
thing,
if they were here? If they were here doing the fighting,
Hmm.
right?
and most brothers, instead of being in damn halls and instead of chasing after uh Garvey and and all of those other people that came over here, with the brotherhood groups and shit. And
Mm.
another thing I wanted to bring up is that we need to stop coveting and stop not saying anything when our people are being beat by our siblings who we know that they're taking advantage of the people.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, I want to hear what y'all have to say about that. Shouldn't they be exposed? And why do the women have to be the one doing the exposing?
They should be
Why are
exposed.
brothers stepping to other brothers and say, hey, brother, stop, you need to stop what you're doing here. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be taking advantage of our people.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That that all goes back to that patriarchal way of thinking. That's all it goes back. See. This is a thing, and sorry, brothers, but I gotta say this, and y'all heard me say this before. People, anybody who heard me talk, y'all heard me say this before. Uh, you know, if you this is a history lesson, and without naming places or dates or anything, this is a history lesson based on nature. Everybody knows what the responsibility of the male is, and they know that the number one of the main responsibility of the male is security, protection. Most most social animals in nature, and I'm talking about sociable animals, the males are the protectors. So history lesson: when the European came over here, who met them? Females.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So so and nobody can argue that it was the males, because that was a job
Mm-hmm.
that met that met them.
You're right.
So we have males, especially males, we have to come to the realization that we dropped the ball first, because we were the one that's supposed to have been doing the protecting. And you
Hmm.
can argue all you want to, you won't win. That's what it all boils down to. You dropped the ball first. For him to get to any female, he had to get through you. So stop blaming females for all of your problems and putting this on it. And another thing, Tupac had a song a long time ago called "You Ain't Shit Without Your Homeboys." Well, I'm gonna change that a little bit. You ain't shit without your homegirls,
Love it.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it.
because when males are doing what they're supposed to be doing, the female's gonna do what they're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, the power is with the females. That's why she creates. That's why she is the creator
Hmm.
and not you. So she, and as long and I'm gonna tell you, this is my experience with female. Now I done made a whole bunch of mistakes too in my life with females. But one thing, but one thing that no female ever did to me was disrespected me when I was doing right.
Mm-hmm.
Not one
And it
ever
won't happen.
ever did that to me. So if you doing right, that's who she looking for. And we got Mills, we got to come to the realization, man, that we dropped the ball first. And we got to realize what we supposed to be doing, our job, do our job. And all this stuff, because and I even think those stats are exaggerated. I don't think that, and I definitely know that many sister females are marrying out of their race. I know it's not very many of them doing it, but I don't think it's as many males doing it either as they say. Although there are some that do it, they just promote it, and that's why you see a lot of it, because that's what they promote. And
Well,
and the media don't have an effect on people's mind, then we ain't talking right now.
mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the brothers, when we was talking about tribes, a lot of the brothers running those tribes, they have other women as mates. See,
Right.
so I I try not to put my tinfoil hat on, okay, but I look at it as those brothers that marry other women, and then they try to justify it. Hey, I mean, that's on you. That's on you. But there's a consequence for all of that.
A
Now,
crime against nature.
yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example that people can't really they can't really say that much of shit about. I mean, this is a prime example. I like using things that's right there in people's faces. Um, my brother played basketball, so I was always kind of a Tom girl, so I kind of grew up understanding basketball, and I got more into football when my youngest son played it. Cause my brother, he didn't care for it. He didn't like to be hit, so I ain't. He played it in junior high. Shit, I don't want to be playing no football. I don't want nobody hitting me. But anyway, he and I were talking about this a while back. You look at this so-called NBA, National Basketball Association, this league, you increasingly seeing mulattoes playing the game. Go
Mm-hmm.
back and look at some old footage of classics, cause you can always, and there's plenty of folks got ESPN and all of these tickets and stuff, and they have these shows. You can pull it up on YouTube. Go back and look at the faces of all the players in the damn NBA, and it's like, where's these folks coming from? So we can't say that these and they mamas is pale women.
Mm-hmm.
It's not per se. I'm not gonna say, because I don't know all of these young men. I'm just gonna say that. But the majority of they mamas is pale women,
Mhm.
and they
But
dad is Amerindians. The majority of them.
uh but you got but another thing you got to look at with these with these mulatto players. A
Hmm.
lot of those guys, a lot of those mulatto players in the NBA, fathers played in the NBA.
They did. They did. And I'm gonna do you one better. When my youngest son, cause he was trying to stay active. Football is his thing, but he loves sports though. So when he was playing for AAU, he decided to play a little basketball AAU in the summertime. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would be sitting there with the other mothers and stuff, and I remember some of these mothers whose sons were really good. My son wasn't that good, but cause he was pretty good in football, but that was his sport. But he said, "Mom, I think I want to play AAU basketball." So fine, I try to expose my kids to stuff that's a little positive as much as I can. So I'm in for when I did the sports with him. I'm in when I did it with my oldest son with the band and other and his other stuff. I'm all in.
Mm-hmm.
These mothers would sit up there and say how when they sons got off these buses and shit, these pale girls was there greeting them all over them. All the mothers that I met, they didn't like it. And they were trying to groom their boys to just, be nice to them and go on. These pale women groom their daughters to go out and and hunt and try to trap these young men. Your best bet is just to not to get involved in that, because every time these men these young brothers every time they make it big and shit. This is why the money goes back with the mothers. The mother is the one who makes the play date for the kids. The kids are, you know, they are gonna be with her family more so, and it just how it is. A lot of times than their dad's family, and especially if it's a father playing sports that's on the road all the time, they with her family. They ain't with his family.
Hey, and Sanaki,
Hmm.
to take that back in history, that's how the Native American came along.
Hmm. Hmm.
These Europeans, a lot of them, I ain't gonna say all of them, but because a lot of them are Siberian too. But
Hmm.
a lot of these females married indigenous males, and so that gave them, uh, uh, a little bit of clout over that male's property.
Hmm.
Whatever the mother gave to the son. Now she's a part owner of that,
Hmm.
and
Right.
a lot
That
of that
that's that's
to
a
get
you're
in.
right. That's a part of the patriarchy. That's a
Hmm.
Right.
part of the patriarchy. And I know I make people uncomfortable when I say this and everything because I've had to straighten many males out, many brothers out when they talk about our women married those men. No, no, no. The patriarchy, the patriarchal carrot that was dangled over them was that the children who they had with their own women were the children of those women. They belonged to the women's family. The
Hmm.
children that they had with the foreigners, those would be those men's children.
Hmm. I get it. Wow.
That was that carrot that was dangled over their head once they adopted patriarchy. But I want to uh, also bring out sisters who are raising unprecious children who, and precious is one of the new words. It means what we would say conscious, but it's precious, meaning positive. Children who know who they are, who can articulate who they are, who are not as gullible. Let's talk about those sisters. Let's talk about those sisters who follow patriarchal men, knowing those patriarchal men, looking for what do you say, a concubine in those women. I said the men got the seeds like that. But I mean, I asked one sister, God damn, didn't you go through labor? But I mean, really, you have these women sitting around letting men speak for them or being under the influence of a brother who's into patriarchy, knowing that their grandmothers had gardens, knowing that their grandmothers could sew, knowing that their grandmothers straight from the South, knowing that their grandmothers can cook,
Hmm.
heritage, but still following men talking about they some damn people from Israel.
And I hope they stop saying this shit about men carry the seeds. And we're gonna put it in this program. Men don't carry no goddamn seeds. A a a baby girl. And see, this is what happens when people don't, when they run from biology and shit, when they run from stuff that they should just go out there and learn, teach themselves. Don't believe me. This is a fact of nature because this is nature. Nature made us perfect. Okay? Regardless, we have our flaws. A lot of that shit is behavior, but nature made us perfect. And if we so called say she didn't, then she still had her reasons for whatever she did. because nature is who deems who gets here, who doesn't get here per se, who, who has children, who doesn't have children, because it's not even all women that can't have kids, it's men who can't have kids, and all of that stuff. So nature's design is perfection. Baby girls are born with all the goddamn eggs they will ever have in life when she comes through the portal into this sphere, through her mother's vagina. She has all of her eggs at that time when you hold her in your arms, and she has just been born. Okay? They're there. And this is just, because people seem like they don't fucking know. This is ridiculous, because I mean, you do learn this stuff in school. If you go to sleep, that's your problem. And maybe you did go to sleep, but now it's time to be woke and go teach yourself this basic shit. Okay? Men have, they fertilize the egg. Okay? Think of a seed itself. A seed has to have the right conditions to produce, to grow and bloom. The woman has the seed, the man has the fertilizer, the woman has the environment for to receive the fertilizer so that she can have the seed in the right environment for 9 months, in some cases a little sooner, but in 9 months, then the seed has been in the environment to grow until it's time to enter into this fuckery construct. I don't know what part of that people don't understand. Quit saying shit that makes no sense. Men don't carry seeds. They have the they have the fertilizer. They have the nutrients. They have a sperm that's X and Y and all that shit, but it still has to penetrate the seed by way of being the fertilizer to fertilize the seed.
Let me say something. Let me say something about that XY stuff. Man, get that stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
That stuff is garbage. All a Y chromosome is a broken X.
Yeah.
Now, and to give you an example, get any X and cut off one of the arms of it and see what you get. I don't care which one you cut off. The X got 4 arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care which one of them arms you cut off. What do you get? You get a Y, right?
Yes, sir.
That's all that stuff is about. All this stuff. That's why I say a lot of this stuff ain't important.
No.
It ain't important. Another thing, another example, this blood type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Your blood comes from the mother.
It does.
So anybody who that mother births has her blood.
All day and twice on Sundays. Yes.
And what people need to know is, and see, and when you know stuff like this, there's no problem about these blood confusions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem, like if you need blood, because it came from your mother. So number one, you know she got your blood, so she's a donor.
Mm-hmm.
Any brother or sister you got, they're donors because they have the same blood you have.
Mm-hmm.
Any children that come from the female members of your, like I got 3 sisters, any of their children got the same blood I got.
Mm-hmm.
Any of my grandmothers, all of her children, all of my uncles and aunts, they got the same blood I got. And all of my aunts, their children have the same blood that I have. And any female in that line has your blood. So what the heck I need to run around trying to find people to donate? And if my people are giving people,
yes,
I ain't gotta do it. That's what all that stuff is. All that stuff is distraction. It don't mean nothing.
it's mostly brain pollution, because just like any other pollution, which is garbage, is harmful, is toxic, That's what it is. And when we continue to parrot things that make no damn sense, all we are doing is setting the stage for the next generation to be immersed in stupidity, not ignorance. Because, like I said, ignorance is simply to not know,
Yeah.
stupidity is to not know and not want to know.
Yeah.
Okay?
And hey, and to go back to that XY thing, Sanaki,
Mm-hmm.
if you come from a female, how can she not have X chromosomes?
Mm-hmm.
They teach us that females only have X chromosomes, they don't have Y's.
That's the shit they say. Yeah.
So if you come from your mother, how can she not have Y chromosomes if you got them?
Hmm.
See how
Mm-hmm.
see how all this stuff is just it's distraction. That's all it is. This
Mm-hmm.
tribal stuff too is all
Well,
distraction.
well,
That's
that is
that's it.
connected to tribal
Mm-hmm.
because you listen to how every so often somebody posts that kind of stuff, you know, and folks say, "Well, I'm old." Old means original. No, it don't. It means without. Okay. Uh, so and people thinking that, oh, well, I can if they can't judge who they are by their DNA, they go by their blood type, and that's just silliness. That's just another extension of the tribalism that we've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a division. If a sibling don't have O blood type, you telling me they're not Amerindian? That makes
Uh,
no sense. That's why we encouraging people to do their genealogy.
really,
We
there's no
need to
such thing as
do that.
blood types.
Mm-hmm.
Although blood types make you who you are, that's what. Hey, I mean, I was taught that way too, Shirey. I was taught that old blood meant original blood. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but the reason why I related to it because I knew that we were the original people.
Mm-hmm.
But like I but as I grew older and started knowing, it's not important to me no more because I know where to go if I need some blood.
Right.
And I can tell anybody in this whole world if they need some blood where they can go get it from.
You just did. Shit. You broke it down to him. I mean, you couldn't make it any easier to understand and any more succinct. Can't nobody say, well, what about, can't nobody say that. So brother, you broke it
Exactly.
down. You know?
So what we just did was eliminated reasons to exclude aspects of our people, because those are
Right.
exclusionary tactics. If this person don't have the same blood type as me, oh, they not Amerindian. That's silly. We hurt ourselves with that logic, and other people benefit from our chaos. Everybody benefit from our chaos,
Everybody.
and it's time
Everybody.
for us to stop that. Really, it's just time to stop, to knock down the fences that separate us, that we have put up over generation. Knock those fences down, because we need to be a collective. We need
Mm-hmm.
to we need to pull together, because we seen what it's like when we all pull individually. Now it's time to pull together,
And
because
that's
our
hard
people
to
didn't
see.
always exist this way.
No.
Ain't got us nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I hear y'all, and it's time for sisters to start teaching their children. And Shirey, what you said about letting it be like a family effort is priceless, because then the children would get involved and the children start understanding the
Mm-hmm.
genealogy and start being proud of their heritage.
That's right.
You know, here it is, our mothers, our mothers were the world's greatest horticulturalists, agriculturalists, the world's greatest. They made food from plants. They made clothes from plants.
Hmm.
Our fathers were the world's greatest builders.
Of everything, ingenuity.
Mhm.
Exactly everything.
I want to throw this in there, and this is a plug to my sister, and it's one I want to give. Uh, to Shiree when she did my genealogy, you know, and I don't sell her to anybody, but this is my story, and I'm sticking to it because this is my shit. When she did it some years ago, I think maybe about 5 years ago or something, and I shared it with my boys, and I almost get choked up saying it now. I can't even describe the light in their eyes when, and I have two sons. They're young adult millennials. They were on either side of me. I kid you not. I can't describe the light and the radiance in their eyes as they were sitting on either side of me as we were going over that. And I just had to say that.
See,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so you
Yeah.
see, I'm
Mine too.
telling you, people miss out when they say genealogy don't matter. The hell you say? It do matter. It matters. Hey, all these kids. Let's look around the young Negro males, in particular. How they walk around with their clothes hanging off their rear ends and that kind of stuff, and walk around with chips on their shoulders. Let them know who they are. I tell you this. I've seen it with my own eyes. They change when they
They
find
do.
out who they are.
I've
They
never had that issue with my boys. I never have because, for one thing, within myself, my grandmother would be rolling in the grave and she'd come into my consciousness and whoop my ass. What is wrong with you? What got them boys walking around like? Never happened. And they never wanted to do it, never did it. I ain't never had to make them wear no belt or none of that stuff. They just know this is you're representing your people.
Mhm.
Okay. When you go out into that public outside your domicile, your dwelling, all eyes are on you, whether you know it or not. They are.
Yes. Yes. That's why we have to raise more smart children so that they don't fall prey.
Hmm.
All you gotta do is tell them the truth. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
all you gotta do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell them the truth.
Yes, yes.
Simple.
Yeah. And when I see pray, and when I hear the word pray, the only thing I see is your face down, ass up. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, and that brings up, and since you're talking about pray, that brings up another thing. And somebody mentioned it earlier, was talking about it earlier when we was talking about words. I think it was Sanaki talking about words. See, people think words. People think words don't hurt. Words don't hurt. I don't know not one person in this world that ever got beat up by a word.
Hmm.
But words will get you killed.
Mhm.
I'm
They
finna
will get you killed.
They will. I'm finna give y'all a heads up, and I'm gonna put it in here because it's apropos for what we're talking about. Somebody, uh, because we're the admins of the group. Somebody put in here. I'm just saying, I'm not going to go in there, but I'm going to read this post, and I'm going to keep it in here till we get off. So the census is here, but if you don't belong to a tribe, what are you checking off? See, this did listen, brothers and sisters. This from 13 minutes ago. I ain't gonna call the person's name. Let me see. I don't know if it's a guy. Okay, so it's a brother. So I'm gonna say it again. So, and I'm gonna say it about how like we be the census is here, but if you don't belong to a tribe, what you checking off? I'm just gonna say it like how it sound. Like that's how they be talking. Like what? This is, and I'm gonna go ahead and prove it so we can get ready and whip his ass later on. There you go.
No, I
But
got a
see, here's the thing.
question. I got a question. I got a question. Who are we answering to?
I answer to somebody who's probably puzzled and don't know, but
Mhm.
is under the influence that we should be tribal. and
Mm-hmm.
that we should say our tribe, which, I mean, in our honesty, to me, and I could be wrong, he could put whatever tribe his tribe.
That's what we said. That what we said. You can put it down. That's fine.
That's right.
That's fine.
They're gonna
But
ask.
for
But
us
the
not to
tribalism
correct it,
aspect of it, the tribalism, excuse me, tribalism aspect of it is that when these people feel like Choctaw, if let's say they Choctaw, what's
Mhm.
one thing about putting it down on the census that they have you check American Indian and they ask about your tribe and you can put that down there. But here's the thing, that's on the paperwork. When we talking about dealing in the real world, but we can't be all about Choctaw or
Right.
all
Right.
about Cherokee
That's
or
the thing.
Kickapoo. See that's the problem. Not that the census is here and they put that down on the census. That ain't the problem. The problem is that they don't want to build with their people outside of that tribe.
That is the problem. And they are going to ask when you say that you are, because it's on there, the American Indian, they're going to take it a step further and ask you to declare who you are. They are going to say that. But this is absolutely what you said, sister. What we've been saying, for the duration we did this show, we cannot uh, just be just all coalescing into one thing that makes it into some kind of faction that further divides and separates our people, because we as a whole are the people, period.
Mhm,
We're the original people. It ain't no this tribe, that tribe. We are the original people
mhm,
as a whole. People is a whole, is a whole a homogenous group for us, given this landmass is ours, Turtle Island as a whole. And again, as the elder said, the time for that has passed. We can't go back and use it in that manner. That's what we're saying. We can't.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm gonna
I mean,
say again, and I'm gonna say again, that ain't what the European did.
that's true, Rick. Uh, but let me throw some things out there because the other week when I got my census, I did my census, and I did acknowledge American Indian, and I did put uh, one of my maternal tribes,
Mhm.
and I shared that with people in the group and in the family. But just because uh, my maternal lineage goes back to a specific tribe. The tribe that I used was Powhatan, and it goes back to that. That when I think of the collective, see, I don't live in the Powhatan tribe.
Mhm.
I use that for the census.
Right.
My people, I'm concerned with the collective. I don't operate within a tribe. I see people they get all pumped up talking about the tribes and they belong to this tribe and that's the be all to end all. That's not how I look at it. I look at there's no power in me being a Powhatan and my whole existence being a Powhatan.
Let me tell you something else. We can't do that because think about this. I worked on the census a month ago or so, and I was training census workers. Okay, cause and it's my extended family, y'all. I shared it with y'all, and y'all know. So you don't have okay. You got an Irish European, a Scottish, a Welsh. You have British. You have what else you got? You got any number of fucking Europeans. But when they
Mhm.
come together and say it, they say they're European.
That's right.
And they ain't gonna never segregate themselves and segment themselves into no silo, which is a individual something over here and something over. They ain't gonna never do that against you. Ever, ever, never, ever. When have they ever done that? Never. I don't ever recall it. It ain't never been in history. They're gonna unite against you. They may claim it, but when it counts, they sure as hell don't claim it. And they are all part of whatever that nationality is of wherever they came from, given that they can go back and uh uh recount their own heritage, because hell, half the time they can't, but sometimes they can. Then they'll say, I'm Welsh, I'm Scottish, I'm Irish, I'm Finnish, I'm Swedish, I'm Norwegian, I'm German, all of that shit. And they are different. They do speak different languages, but it don't matter when it comes to you now, does it?
Uh-uh.
And that's the whole point. This don't need it, this can't matter. It just, the time for it is gone. It can't matter moving forward, given that we have got to unite and have what's called, as a community, common unity. The unification of our people is, I mean, we can't even emphasize how necessary and how important that is. We can't implore it enough. And anything that uh, seeks to cause divisions in that and to crack it, we can't have. To the extent that it's being embraced, we simply can't.
My question is, who are you trying to impress? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, who are you trying to get this? Who are you trying to get? Who are you trying to get this to? That you tribal, that you remember this tribe. Who do you want? I mean, what do you expect out of doing that? Are you going to get anything because you did that?
Right.
Well,
Hey, like I say, I know who I am. I know what so-called tribe my descendants that I come from, but that's not my purpose. My purpose is for all, because like I say, when I go in the forest and see how I blend in with everything in that forest and my people, how they blend into everything in that forest, there ain't no question about where my home is. There's no question. I see it every morning when I get up in the morning and walk out the door. I see home. Ain't no doubt about it. And I know that America is the home of the so-called Amerindian. So that's what I am, and that's an ethnicity. That's not just a tribe. A tribe is a family.
right.
I'm talking about an ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking, here's my thing. This is my logic,
And it's
and
a
this is
race.
what I do.
Amerindian is a race too. It is a
But
race.
Mm.
ethnicity is same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That my thing is this. I don't, as I said before, this is not to prove nothing to anybody else. It's knowing who you are. That's who you are. They ask who you are, you tell them who you are. Now, do I exist as a Powhatan? No. But on that paper, they ask me, because all they want to do is for you to tell them who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I am. But I don't exist for that tribe. You understand? That's who I descend from.
Right.
I don't live in that. And to people getting it twisted, they want to live in it. No, we got to live as Amerindians correctly. That is correct. We must live as that in the real world. But the first thing, when people can identify their tribe, some can, some can't. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point is you're saying who you are. It's not just about to them, to the so-called government, but it's about to yourself. It's about when your descendants pull up that census decades later. They're seeing it from you. This is what you said, not what somebody came to your house and said on your behalf, but this is what you're saying. That's what's so
Yep.
important
And
about
then,
this census.
and
That's
another
what's
thing,
important.
when it's time. Yep. And another thing, when it's time for us to stand up as a people, Catawba ain't gonna cut it. Catawba,
Right, right.
I can't go just get. I need the other so-called tribes too, because all of us the
Yeah,
same people.
that's correct.
I'm not gonna be able to. The Catawbas are not gonna be able to overcome this thing. The
Mm,
Allen and Weiser is not gonna be the ones that's gonna be able to overcome this thing. All of these so-called tribes, nations, or whatever have to come together. That's
yep.
why I don't affiliate with Catawba, but I know I am.
See,
Mm-hmm.
so this guy, I don't know what this gentleman's stance is. I don't know his whole point, but him knowing who he is, that's important because you're setting the record straight for future generations.
Mm-hmm.
However, we don't wrap ourselves in the tribes that we descend from because we way past that now.
That's
We
right.
way past that. We have to operate again as one people, Amerindians. That's all inclusive. But they asked about your specifics, and if those that can give it, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really not about the tribes. People keep wrapping themselves up in the tribes, but in reality, it's about the collective. We cannot. I can't. I can't function like he just said. He can't be Catawba and think that he's gonna lift his folk and everything gonna be all right with the Catawba, right? Right? It's not. So all of these tribes are important, but not as the tribes, but as the collective Amerindians. It's all inclusive of all those tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's just important that we share this information. I'm just we just can't say it enough. It's important that we share the information and encourage our siblings to go and do their family trees. That's important.
Yes.
It's important for them to reconnect with their ancestors because they're gonna need that. Because if they think that things finna go back to the way they were, we can go back to the shucking and jiving age. They sadly mistaken. Now's the time to get busy with that, and I don't mean get busy making yourself some chief of some tribe, putting tribes together. No, it's time to start building. It's time to start doing some work to save ourselves because ain't nobody else gonna save us. So, like I said, it's time to get to work, and people trying to keep you preoccupied with what all these other groups of people have to say about us over here, acknowledging our truth. They want to keep
Mhm.
you busy fighting or trying to get recognized by the federal government, state government, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Backstabbing, all this kind. We don't have no more time for that. It's time for us to act as adults.
That's right. And you can take the four of us right here. All of us now. All of us are from different so-called tribes.
Mm-hmm.
All of us. Neither one of us. Neither one of them is Catawba.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them. I've never heard. Neither one of them said they were Cherokee
Right.
or Anahuaja. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
am. I am.
okay, okay, okay. So we got somebody that with some in common, but you also descend from people that's not from everybody that I'm from, everybody on this panel. But we here talking. We've been able to put that aside and become one, and that's what our people got to do. One is not going. One particular tribe is not going to cut it. Too
Mm-hmm.
easy to take out. Europeans didn't do that. Like I keep on it incinerated. They got together.
Mm-hmm.
What we got to do? We all know that we're indigenous people. That's what we all have in common, and that's where we should be working from the indigenous standpoint of it.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, and these so-called, and I gotta say this, these so-called Native Americans, they're not indigenous
Nope.
because indigenous people are part of an ecosystem.
That's right.
Indigenous people blend in with the environment.
Hello. Mm-hmm.
They stick out like sore thumbs. And you can imagine that because you know how they look. You know a Native American when you see one. You can imagine one in your head because you see them all the time. Oh, if you don't see them in person, you see them on TV. You can imagine them in that forest and how they'll stick out like sore thumbs. But you blend right into it. All of us, all of the Katabas, all of the Aniwaja, all of the Powhatans, all of the Makawaks, all of the Shatas, all of us. That's one thing we all got. We got a homeland in common, and it's up to all of us to protect this homeland, not just one part of it.
Yep.
Yes. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Hey, now that's where people are separated because as was stated earlier, a lot of folks all they want to do is wear some war bonnet and um, talk stuff. I mean, that even though some of the things that they say is based on some truth,
Mm-hmm.
but hey, they ain't about to do nothing. They're not about to do anything. And what they say, the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we at in this current situation. We got a lot of stuff going on, and I know folks are preoccupied with. But let me just tell you, this is the perfect time for our people to each one teach many, get work doing things, learning new things. It's time.
It is.
And we either get aboard or we suffer the consequences. Again, it's gonna be a lot of us who gonna hang on to the BS that we was taught. They're gonna say the heck with knowing their genealogy. That's let the past be the past. We the only idiots to be saying that kind of stuff, and they're gonna pay a price for it. And unfortunately, they're gonna take innocent people with them, like they children.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it's a new day now, and it's time for us to pick up the pieces. It's time for us to pick up the pieces and put together. It may not look like our ancestors what they did because hey, the situations was very different. But what we're forming here is a collective thing
Mm-hmm.
to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. We don't have a choice anymore. That was a choice where you could push yourself back over in the closet, in the corner, anywhere, and you ain't have to do anything. But now, we're gonna be forced to do something, and I'm talking about to help ourselves.
Yeah.
All
And,
hands.
and, and
Let me just say this real quick. All hands have got to be on deck because what has been kind of the vision that I'm seeing from this new dynamic, this new norm, this fucking new world order. Let's just call it what it is. Of where we are. I ask people, and then I say it in such a way that they eyes just book and they just look, talking about, well, when we go back to no, it's not going back to normal, whatever that was, because we've been put in abnormal situations, in artificial situations, the whole time since these damn parasitical people been here. So let's just be clear. We didn't go back to normal, quote unquote, after 9/11. I try to use things that make people think. I ask people, did we or did we not, after 9/11 and all of that perpetration of the false flag and a major false flag event, did we go back to not damn near getting naked when we get on the plane? Yes or no? No, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't. They
Mm-hmm.
damn near have machines that look at you, look at your naked ass. Almost, we know we've seen the new technology
Mm-hmm.
that they keep changing. When you get on a plane, a commercial plane, to go anywhere, and if you want to get on a commercial plane, you're gonna let them look at your naked ass. You're gonna take your shoes off, take your belt off, take every piece of metal off, and if you got some kind of prostrate, you better tell them and all that shit. That was almost 20 years ago. Did we go back to when we didn't do that? No. So what's going to happen is what they want. This is why what we're saying, and I just please our family and our people is so critical. What we are saying is even more critical than ever before. They want people to forget. They as the elders transition and not here no more, that includes us, then you're gonna have fewer and fewer people speaking the truth, telling you the truth, helping you to connect the dots and all of that. So you best to get this shit because they want you to not know so that you can embrace the shit that is to come. I don't know
Mhm.
about anybody else, but I would rather walk into shit, even if it's a damn fire, with my eyes open or something, rather than I'm not sure what's happening. I don't understand what's happening. I like to know. It may not be a damn thing I can do about it, but I go into every situation in my life with my eyes wide open, not wide shut.
And let me say something, you know, because everything with the tribes ain't good. So I don't want to just put everything negative because there are so-called tribes out there that accept other people into their tribes, and that's a good thing. So I'm not condemning that. So like I said, but you got some where you have to have certain qualifications, and if you're not, if you can't prove that you're part of that tribe, you can't be in that tribe. And
Right.
that's
Say it again,
not
brother.
people
You
are.
being distorted a little bit. Say it again. I think he just fell off. We gotta let him come back on because he's making an excellent point.
Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all.
Okay, because he was being distorted. We need to say it again. It's real important what he was saying.
Yeah. Give me a moment. Here we go.
Hmm.
Okay, where you at, Rick? You on, Rick? You there, Rick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Repeat what you said because
Okay.
it was distorted, brother Rick. Say it again. It was a little distorted and it's very important.
Uh, uh, what was I saying?
You was talking about you didn't want to say, you
After
we
we,
ain't gonna we're not gonna stay on the negative about the tribes. We're just trying to clarify and then talk about.
oh yeah. Yeah, I got it. I said there are tribes out there that accept other people in tribes and are good about that. I want to give a shout out to those people, you know.
Okay.
But there are a lot of out there that if you can't prove any kind of bloodline with them, you can't join.
Hmm.
And those are mainly the people. Because to me, if they let anybody into that tribe, that tells me that they're deal with.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
the ones that don't, we don't know what thing.
See, my
I
thing
ain't gonna
is
say they
this.
won't, but
You done, Rick?
I
See,
lost him again.
oh,
We
okay.
we try to make sure because he being distorted, and it could be the reception, where he is or whatnot, because this was very. We want people to know this was very impromptu, but it was very necessary, and we doing this from our hearts and from our love of our people.
Right. See,
Rick,
and
you there?
here's another thing that
Okay.
when people, that we need to give clarity that it's okay to go into a community of people who think like you, who are starting their own communities. They earth. They're taking their collective skills and putting it on the table for the betterment of that community and all that stuff. And that's what I encourage people to do because therefore they belong to a community.
Hmm.
They're not, everybody is not Cherokee, Chickasaw, whatever the case is. They are a collective of people who are joined together for the betterment of themselves. And they'll take on other people. If people, you know, if people want to come in and show some skills, but nobody wants nobody to come and squat on them. They don't have nothing to add, nothing to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion and a hungry mouth.
Absolutely. I say it
And
all the time. When you come to everybody, we all have been through this. We've all, and anybody out there has experienced it. When we do a nice wang dang, I'm from the South, and hey, I'm going to say it, a nice potluck, whether it's on your job or with family or whatever. When somebody just come bringing some goddamn cups and plates, you be looking all upside their head, don't you? And don't let them come with nothing. Don't let them, like, man, no, you ain't getting nothing. No, no, we don't want to hear it. Where your stuff at? What you bring?
right. Come early and set the shit up, help set it up, help straighten stuff up.
Do something, do something. And then
Right.
needs to be the same folks that want to leave with 5 plates, though. See, shit.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. Correct. But there are communities. There are communities. I'm part of a collective, and it's a community of people who are doing something. So when shit hits the fan, I got somewhere to go. Where I'm gonna be out of harm's way because I've invested.
Correct.
And boy, you're talking about living indigenously. Yes, they live indigenously.
Mm-hmm.
They eat indigenously. They live indigenously. Outside of the system.
Absolutely.
Tom.
And see, and that's
And
part
don't
of
want to be dependent on the system. And I just want to be clear. I mean, for each their own. I mean, hey, if you like it, I love it. But I just want to be independent. I want to be
yeah.
able to stand on my own 2 feet with a collective of my people, and and that's it. I don't want to be a burden to the system. I don't want to have to depend on their doctors and stuff, which we have to do, and let's just be real about it.
Sure.
Have to.
When people are autonomous more so than not, and that means being as self-sufficient as you can, those people are respected. Let's be clear about that. When people are not autonomous, they are not respected, and we do get lied on. But we have mostly in the past few decades, we have mostly been self-fulfilling prophecies in this shit ourselves, whereby it seemed like we make the shit that they say about us come true. Okay, it be manifest because they try to say you lazy. They try to say that you're always looking for a handout and all that shit. So when other foreigners come here, they have already been that shit, that rhetoric, that rhetoric has already been indoctrinated into them. So then they repeat it.
Right. I mean, here go scrub ass people coming over here to escape what the hell's going on
Mm-hmm.
on country where they can't make shit work. They hungry and shit. Third world coming over here snubbing their nose at us for real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, goddamn, you got 2 mixed mac damn shoes on and shit. They're gonna bitch to let you in, but then you want to come over here and snub your nose at my people.
I love it, and you tell
Get
the
a,
truth.
yeah,
But
get a little education and get a damn job.
but
Then you better than my people.
but
You just a damn begging.
you're right. I'm just flipping it with when I hear our people like, yeah, I'm gonna get my check. Trump check, and I had to put out there. Don't you know this damn money ain't free? I had to tell people, okay, whatever this shit is that they cooking up in Congress, and that's all it is, some cooking up some shit. Okay, both parties, whatever they cooking up, it ain't good. Okay, and the fact is, I put out there and I broke it down and told people. And this is what I read. So I don't say shit without attaching it. So it ain't me saying it. It's like read it for your damn self, which most folks don't. A lot of folks, not most, but a lot of folks, they don't want to read. Then they want to bitch at you about what you tell them, but they ain't done no research to look up shit for themselves. Come to your own conclusion. I simply said for your information, you know, a person's future tax refund will be withheld. And if they not going to get one, because there's a lot of people don't get refunds, then this money just going to be put on your damn debt tab for repayment like any other damn debt. That's what it is. So you think that you're going to get this money without a hitch? No, you're not. Okay? They're going to get it from you by hook or crook. And then when they assign it over to the damn IRS, the Internal Robbery Service, oh, they're going to get it. And it's like, I can't say whether you should accept it or not, because the way they done thrust people into all this damn chaos, you ain't worked, you can't pay your bills. This system of capitalism can't make people give you more time to pay your rent and all that. I get it. But when you understand, when you accept this money, there's no such thing as free money under this capitalistic construct bullshit that they have. They only give it to the corporations who benefit them as the upper echelon in the elite establishment. And you run around here talking about this Trump check and what you're going to get. What? No, you're going to pay that damn money back.
Hey, what's going to happen when they get their reparation check? And shit, that's gonna be on their reparation check. It's gonna be minus that.
It's gonna be mine. I'm sorry. I mean, they just killing me. You know, I love my folks. Like, what are you talking about? And they gung ho. And this is folks that every other day they talking about Trump. Because I would go in the inbox like, hey, Cootie, you know, this man ain't running shit. I be trying to help him out. Please save your energy. This man ain't running a damn thing. However, he was put in here for this reason. You know, I'm off the subject a little bit, but we're trying to cram in a lot of stuff in this segment for our folks. If you think you're going to get this damn check and it's some free money, like I said, I got some nice beachfront property on Jupiter. Sell your ass. Whew. Okay. I digress.
But you know, people need to understand that we've been talking about this amongst us for a long time. Put something together. It's just so many things that we need to tell our people that they are not being told, or somebody's telling them, but they mix in some nonsense with it. We're just trying to help people have some clarity. Because right now, there are a lot of confused Amerindians. They are very confused. And you know what? Their confusion can be used against them. And we're just trying to help them see through the fog. We really are. We're not here trying to put anybody down. We're not trying to add to any divisions. We're just merely saying, look, here's some clarity for this confusion. Because when we're confused as a people, all these other people, whether they conscious of it or not, they benefit from it. And we got to stop, because it's killing our people.
Yes.
It's killing them psychologically. It's killing them spiritually. I mean, our people doing some crazy stuff right now. So we need to each one teach many, and it's you know, as best as we can. And that's what this is about. That's why it might seem like we're rambling a little bit. It's just that we've been talking about this for a long time, and we just couldn't sit back and talk about it anymore. We just trying to get out, like I said, get some clarity out there, because our people desperately need it.
And we love y'all. We love y'all more than you could ever know, because nothing would ever make either one of us, and I know my brother and my sister they just by another mother, but that's what they are. Nothing could ever make either one of us turn on our people, you know, rag on our people and all that shit. Yes, because it's family, you get mad at family and be like, what the fuck? And you do say that. You know, We all do it. Like, oh my God, he did what she did. Oh, wait, that's what you do, you know. And you're trying to talk some sense into them. Do we not? That's family. That's what we do.
Yeah. But I mean, but our folks, like I said, we see their confusion all the time, and we're not just talking about on the internet. We're talking about in the real world.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, they hear the conversations. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, we let it go. But you know what? I just want to say to the people, you get nothing for free. There's nothing free for us. We past that stage. There's
Yes.
nothing free. It's gonna cost us in the long run.
Uh-huh.
And that's just the bottom line. I mean, if people do get it and without getting what is that, a 5013C or whatever that shit is, and lie talking about they got some money from the government, have at it. But there's things that they're going to get.
You're gonna pay this damn money back, and you don't want it. And right now, these two factions, and we really have them, that people subscribe to, these cone head ass fucking people, they up there making decisions about our lives, and we see how in less than 2 weeks our whole damn lives flipped and turned around. But you know, we will say this, you know, as my brother and my two sisters will attest, we've been telling y'all this shit was coming. It ain't anything that we want to see, but you'd have to be Helen Keller not to know this shit was coming. And she was blind and deaf.
Hey, and another thing, people gotta realize everything is in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna give you something for nothing, especially when they in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see all of this again as a coincidence, because as we were saying, yeah, we've been talking about this for years. It was coming down the pipe. But see, they have to do things like this because they have to reboot their system.
Exactly.
And how do they reboot their system? They make the people real receptive. And then especially the landlords. Guess who the landlords are? Us. And so we co-sign all this stuff when we be going out there voting. We co-signing.
Yes, ma'am.
It don't matter what we vote on, what party we vote with. The act of us voting in this system co-sign everything that they do. That's why CNN a few weeks ago was up in arms when they did that poll and Negroes weren't interested in voting.
I'm so glad.
See, they weren't interested in either party. And that really panicked those pale folks, because that's the only way that they can run things on this land is if we give them permission. And every time we go out and vote, we give them permission.
And one more thing, sis, when we co-sign that shit, and it's called consent by proxy, okay? That's what it is. So when you do your voting, you know, most folks don't even think about vote equal veto. Veto is to undo shit. So you vote, they undo it. Whatever they told you they was going to do, they don't do it. They go in there and undo it. I mean, doing the same shit and expecting a different result, that's the working definition of insanity. Let's be clear about that. That's insanity, okay? So when you go in there, you also minimize their comedic debt, because anytime you step in front of them, then you reducing the shit that they got coming, because universal reciprocity is a thing. It is real. But we keep on cloaking their ass. We keep on giving them protective covering. And then we wonder why we keep getting our ass kicked. That's the other thing.
So, I mean,
see, I'm tired of getting my ass beat for everybody. I'm tired of mama beat my ass. Just like we were talking, remember, since we were talking early, how when our mother, like when the siblings when one sibling does something, and mama say, "Who did it?" Nobody want to tell.
She whip everybody's ass.
That's right. You know,
she gets the right one.
Or she get the main one, and you get in the damn way of that belt. You getting some of that shit too. I'm tired of getting damn beat for everybody else.
Yes. I agree. Absolutely.
I'm tired of mama beating my ass because I'm with the collective. I'm part of the collective.
Absolutely. You know, but
Well,
and we just want people to understand we're gonna have to get back to bartering. We're gonna have to get back to growing stuff. You're gonna have to get back to, all the things that made us the people that we are, because we shouldn't even be going through this shit. And the one last thing I
mhm,
told people, if you just didn't even vote, because and I hate folks. Well, what's your solution? God damn it! It ain't no one solution for all these problems. Don't come at me. That really shut down the conversation with that. What's your solution? Man,
mhm,
get on out of here. If you don't vote, that is the one thing that you could do within your control, and that would send a clear damn message. Oh shit! They don't woke up. How many?
mhm,
Only 5% of Negro. Oh hell! You would be surprised the panic and pandemonium that would be going through their asses like
mhm,
shockwaves if you just stepped out of all of these precepts and these damn programs, snares that they keep on trying to trap you in.
See, like how people died and fought the
You see?
Woo! Girl, please don't. Mm-mm. Look, every one of our elders who has transitioned, they will come back and Holy Ghost slap the shit out of you for saying that. Like
I
we
know
we
that's
did what
yeah, that's what the people be saying.
they
I
do.
Yeah.
stop lying. Niggas been able to vote in the 1800s. Niggas,
They did.
Yes.
They did. Run for
other
office too.
men been voting even before white men were able to damn vote.
They
Same
did.
white men, even before some white men were able to vote.
Let me tell you, a lot of folks don't know that in the South, the Negroes ran everything. And when they was voting all along, see, they switched places. They switched places. The enslaved and the pissy poor Caucasoid,
Mm-hmm.
and then gave that to us. And time that we weren't voting, that's a lie because only landowners could vote, and our
Mm-hmm.
That's
people
right.
had the land.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mhm.
after slavery, after the Civil War, that they was coming at our people and getting their lands, killing the men or running the families off. All of that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting
And
to
that's
go to
what
church and wanting to go to their school and wanting to be in their damn social clubs is another thing too.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Hey, and that's another thing. Another thing that I tell people. See, back in the history day, that all of those Civil War stuff that y'all learned, you was the South. The
Mm-hmm.
South was us.
Mm-hmm.
All these, the Europeans lost nothing during the Civil War. We the one lost.
Mm-hmm.
We lost over
Mm-hmm.
700 million acres of earth
Mm-hmm.
with that public land trust of 1868.
Mm.
We the ones that lost. They didn't lose anything because the United States became the executors of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they gained everything. We the one lost. We lost the Civil War. The doggone Europeans lost nothing.
Didn't lose
Robert
shit.
E. Lee didn't lose anything, even though he supposedly was on the losing side. He didn't lose anything. He still had what he had, and
Absolutely.
all the rest of these Europeans too, who
Mm-hmm.
so-called was fighting for the South.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone just said earlier, we were the indigenous people were the landowners in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were the landowners in the South, who was fighting the Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
See,
They just changed all this stuff around, and we ate it up. We took it with line, hook, and sinker.
Yes.
History is nothing like we were taught.
sure
Nothing.
isn't. It sure isn't.
And
Not a thing.
until you understand that, and then figure out what your purpose is in life, because you got a purpose, and it's not to, and it's not just to the people that you love.
No, it isn't.
You have a responsibility to America. You have responsibility to you have responsibility to every living thing that's indigenous to America. That's
Mhm.
why you're the one with the brains.
Mhm.
That's why you're the one with the brains. That's why you're the one with the higher knowledge than everybody else. Because you was the one that is responsible to keep everything else up. So you're not just responsible for your people. You're responsible to all these indigenous animals. You're responsible to all the indigenous trees because you all connect.
Mhm.
Hell,
Because
even
I
the
learned this, I learned it, and I know y'all heard me say this a zillion times too. But I like to be repetitious because and you never know who ain't never heard this. I
listen.
learned that we had a response that we had a connection with the plants when I was in fourth grade science class.
Mhm.
But you know, Rick, that's true. But even the hybrid people, they can't exist without us. They've never known any harmony and balance outside of us.
That's right.
So I mean, so if you really get into it, these folks, whether they wanna believe it or not, and there are some folks in the background, they personally could care less about us, but they know they need us.
That's
So
right.
they shoving all kinds of stuff out there to be beneficial because they think if they can help us get on our feet, that they be able to repeat this process, knock us back down again, trick us back down again. And see that it never happened like that again.
Mhm.
Nature is not finna allow these folks to continue ruling. It can't because they destructive, they tearing up everything, they don't fit in. That's why they work against nature.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's it in a whole nutshell. And then if you walking around being programmed to ascribe and mimic and parrot them, then you're cursing yourself and you're cursing
Hmm.
your people. That's just the bottom line. We don't make the rules. These are universal rules. These are nature's rules. These are rules that are set beyond time, the zones of so-called time. They've always been here, and you pay for that.
Yeah. And just like she was said earlier, this earth was created perfectly. It was created perfectly, meaning that because when this earth was created and when the people were created, everything that the people needed to survive was there.
Hmm.
There weren't no factories, refineries,
Hmm.
stuff like that. And just like somebody else mentioned earlier, we never starved,
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Never.
never starved.
Who was which
And
one of those?
We
Was
didn't
it
even
Billy?
have jails. We didn't even have
No,
jails.
we didn't. We
Mm-mm.
didn't. No
Did
jails.
not have jails.
no,
But yeah, it stayed
that's what we need to
balanced.
be concentrating on, getting back to that. And then once we get back to that, that's when we'll start. That's when we'll start to take our rightful places as the caretakers of this land mass, well, earth mass. I don't like saying land because people land is that people put houses and they put all this asphalt. They cover the earth. That's what land is.
Hmm.
Earth earth is the natural environment, nature, the trees, the forest.
Hmm.
That's earth.
Yes.
And that's where we came from. That's why back in the days, even in the 1960s, you rarely saw females putting stuff in their hair. because it was so much moisture in the air, it made their hair beautiful.
Mhm.
And that's what life gives us. That's why we dying now, because of the moisture. Because we're killing the trees.
Mhm.
That's why we dying like we are. Because we have neglected the laws of nature.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it like a broken record. Hey, that's the only way we gonna get back to where we supposed to be, because they know it. That's why they keep it away from, because they know if we got back to it, they finished. Even though they
Yeah.
finished anyway. Like I say, Mother Nature is a creator. So she can get rid of us and them and just create some more people. So, but me knowing that I'm indigenous to this planet, and like I said, I'm not perfect, but I'm learning more and more every day, and I'm changing every day. I'm getting more inclined to the earth than I used to. So I'm trying to make my changes.
I
Like I
mean,
said, I'm part of the community too, and I got earth.
yeah. I mean, so this is just, we're gonna do this podcast again, and we're gonna try to do it more often. Everybody's really busy and what have you, because we deal with the real world as well. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this more often, um, because our people need to hear they need to hear the truth, and they don't need to have any mixtures to it. Sandwiching in between some untruth or some political correctness, whatever. We don't need that anymore. Um, so we will do this again. I mean, we've been on over 3 hours, y'all.
It went by
Yeah.
fast, but it was necessary.
Yeah.
This was a labor of love, and we ask you all to forgive us for this time, because I really don't like to do. I don't like to listen to long stuff too, but we hope that you do it in segments, and put some marks to where you want other people to hear or whatnot. And this was rather impromptu, but it was very necessary. The ancestors had us to do it. We are
Mm-hmm.
all four of us always obedient to them. We ain't perfect, but we have learned from getting our ass kicked that we should and we have to be obedient to the ancestors when they tell us to do something.
Yes. So what we're gonna do now? Everybody's gonna give their last words, and then we're gonna sign off. Charlene.
I hope what I said somebody is a gem to somebody, and that I could help somebody in what I said and what I shared today. That's it.
Sanaki. Any last words, Sanaki?
Oh, I had muted myself. Sorry about that, cause trying to minimize noise. Just real quickly, I want to echo what my sister just said. We want this to be something that can be useful for our people, especially the young people. Okay, and we need people to step up, to step into their rightful identities and roles. But we also need you to put things that are harmful and hurtful on the shelf, because we don't have any more time for any more self hurt. We just don't. And we have been heaped from other people hurting us, from us hurting us. We got to get back to a place of healing, and we got to get on with the business of our people.
Amen. Rick.
Okay. I want one thing I do want to clear up. Uh, I'm the type of person that what you see is what you get. Nobody speaks for me. No one. everything that comes out of my mouth comes from me. I mean, I pick up stuff from other people, yeah, but I put everything in my own context. I don't, nobody represents me when I'm talking. Only I represent me. And that's just to clear up, anybody, because I know there was somebody making a comment earlier about us being admins and African Americans ain't African. But I'm just letting everybody know African Americans ain't African, don't speak for Rick Moon.
Okay.
With
I'm
that,
glad that.
hey, everybody have a good day. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'm glad that we did this. I really am. Because we really did need to talk about tribalism and genealogy, the importance of genealogy, and we did. And I want people to know that tribalism is just another way to divide the collective's energy. As Sister Sanaki said, turn us into gangs. And genealogy is very important because it opens us up to our ancestral mothers and fathers. It connects us back to this land. So there's no such thing as the heck with genealogy. No, that's very important. And that was our whole purpose today, to let you know that tribalism and lack of genealogy hurts our people. It hurt us. So I want you all to take what we said in stride and do your own research for who you are. But know that we're all in it together, whether we like it or not. And with that, I say, Akichiwa.
Kishiwa.